JP.
Here we are. Here we are.
We've done it.
We have. Big 50.
Time to retire.
Yeah.
Are we stopping here or are we going to keep going now?
No, until we get to 5,000.
5,000? Okay,
least.
awesome. Episode 50. We have a new intro theme for this episode only. We're going to play it right about now. And we're back. Hope you like that new intro theme. It's a 50th episode special intro theme. We have a ton of awesome people joining us tonight. We're going to do an open platform, just meet and greet, hanging out with all our people, supporters, everybody loves us, everybody we love, previous guests, all that good stuff. And it's going to be fun. We're kicking off our YouTube channel, so our setup's a little bit different. We got our mics in the middle of us looking like professionals now. We got a salt lamp because that's what podcast people do. And we're going to go through and introduce everybody one by one. Give me a second. I'm struggling with all this technology. From the top left corner, JP, if you will.
Perfect. Yeah, we got Steven on. He's definitely he's woke. He's a woke man.
He's woke.
You know, he is.
Woke Wolfpack.
Yep. Who else we got in here? We got my mom, Belinda. She's in here. Got my brother Keston.
Ooh, the family.
Yep. We have my sister-in-law, Angela.
Welcome. Welcome,
Yep.
welcome. And we also have P-Hud from a previous episode.
Mhm.
We talked about kind of debunking the flat earth theory with P-Hud, and he also has P-Hud's Jerky, which is one of our sponsors. Damn, that jerky's good. And we also have Tim James from previous episode. I think we did 2 with him already.
Yep.
Chemical-free body. He's got some awesome products. He's one of our networking buddies, and we love him. He's a great guest, and he's got a lot of awesome information. We're going to pick his brain tonight, too. And we also have a recent episode guest coming in tonight, Miss Anna from I had a little bit of tequila. It's already kicking in. I'm going to pace it a little bit from here on. Anna from Something Weird Podcast. She's got her and Brooke do an awesome podcast. We just had them on, I think, for the 47th episode.
Yep. Choops and chimps down.
Yes. Welcome, everybody.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you all for showing up.
Let's go to your Steven up there in the top left corner first, and let's pick his brain.
That should be pretty quick.
Yeah.
How you doing, Steven?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Have you heard all this crazy stuff about the debate stuff with Joe Rogan?
A little bit. Rogan wants to get the president and the Democratic nominee on. Is that what you're talking about?
Tim Kennedy pitched it when he was on his episode recently. They were talking about getting a 4-hour debate on Joe Rogan's podcast, which is bizarre. Just a great example of the bizarre times that we're living in right now. So possibly Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and Joe Rogan all in a 4-hour uncensored live interview for a debate.
Man.
Like, where are we at, man? What's going on with our world?
Something. What if
They'll have to do something to wake Sleepy Joe up. I don't know that they're going to have a lot of debates with old Sleepy Joe on there.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, it's so bizarre, man. We have a guy who can't stop talking about himself, and then a guy that can't finish a sentence. So it's crazy what time we're living in.
And he uses a teleprompter.
Yeah.
Right.
The sentence.
I wonder how that would work on the Joe Rogan experience.
Just freezes up. He's like, I don't know what to say. I don't have any words in front of me.
Miss Delinda, I believe you are JP's mother.
I am.
It's a
JP's
pleasure to have
mother.
you on our podcast.
It's nice to meet you.
You're a regular listener, right?
I've been a little bit hit and miss lately.
I'm going to edit that out. I'm just going to put yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Regular listener. I apologize for the past and in the advance for all my foul language for JP
Oh, no, it's fine.
listening to us.
It's fine.
It's good to have you on. It's nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, thank you.
I can see the resemblance between you and my co-hosts.
really?
Oh, yeah, definitely. P-Hud,
How's it going, guys?
how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm honored to be on the Big 50.
Yeah.
Your lady Monica Perez is coming on a little bit too, and you're the guy that introduced us to her, and she's become a huge ally for our podcast. She's a mentor. She's a regular swapcaster with us and a regular episode, so we're excited to have her on too. We're going to talk to her about the forest fires in California because she's in LA and she's like right next to it. She said in her bedroom window at nighttime she can see flames coming up. It's pretty nuts.
That's insane. I'm so glad the relationship has worked out. I will happily take full credit because Monica's awesome.
You are the full credit, sir. We got your other brother coming in, looks like.
Okay.
Awesome. How do I get that off the screen? Guys, if you're just listening to this episode, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice because it's going to be a lot more visually entertaining.
Check it on the YouTube.
Go check out our new YouTube channel. We just started it. We've been nervous about going to YouTube because we go into a lot of controversial subjects, and I don't want to waste the time to put it on there and then get kicked off. But we're going to take the risk and do it. P-Hud's cat's making a cameo. That's a pretty cat. Oh, I want that cat. That's awesome. She's adorable. Is that a girl or a boy?
It's a female ragdoll.
Female ragdoll.
Send her my way, please.
You would have to fight my two daughters, and I dare say there would be little left of you to prove that you lost.
I don't doubt it. That's a beautiful cat. Every time JP's around cats, they always come right to him. He's a cat whisperer.
I guess so. Yeah, I am.
There's another joke I'm going to make, but I won't do it because there's family on. Tim James, how you doing today? Welcome back to our podcast. I'm glad you joined us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, guys. This will be fun.
How are you doing? How's everything going with your podcast? Plug it.
The podcast is going good. It's pretty smoky up here in Oregon. I live just south of Portland, about 15 minutes. So we've had a lot of, with the fires and stuff, it's been pretty insane. We actually went to a level 2, which means get ready to go. You know, it's like get ready to go. And if you hit level 3, then you have to evacuate. So the fires were, 15, 30 minutes away from the house. So
that's crazy. How does that work in your guys' homes? Like, I know, like in Louisiana, we have trouble getting hurricane insurance because it's just part of the area. So if your house gets destroyed with hurricanes and stuff, I think you're kind of out of luck for the most part. Paul can back me up on that. I'm not positive on it. Do you guys have any kind of insurance for your houses and with fires?
Yeah. Usually everybody has fire insurance on their homes. It might be a little harder now to get it. So it's
you get
bad.
It while it's on fire?
It's bad. You'd be like, hey, you can get me some. But it's pretty bad. Like some entire towns have been completely just leveled. All the houses are gone, burnt to the crisp. So it's been crazy. But podcast has been going good. I haven't had to leave, which is good. I could show you guys real quick, but you can see the smoke outside. It's
wow.
Pretty good. I mean, it's bad, but I mean, I couldn't even see those arborvitaes not too long ago. So
Dang.
it's gotten a lot better.
Dang.
Well, I'm glad you're still alive and still with us. Do you have a fallback plan if your house catches on fire? You coming to Colorado?
Yeah, I'll probably just go to Eastern Oregon. I'll just go back to my hometown.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're welcome to stay with us in the studio.
Sure. Yeah, I heard you guys have some good weather fluctuations over there.
Yeah, if you want 80-degree weather or 40-degree weather, man, just stick around. We got it all.
Yeah, that's kind of like Eastern Oregon. It's kind of like that.
Really? But I
Mhm.
think we had a record the other night. I went like 40-something degrees in one night. It was,
It was almost 100 the day before, and then the next morning it was down in the 30s.
that's
Snowed.
nuts.
Snowed that night.
I took all my reptiles in from my little sanctuary in the backyard, put them in the garage, and got them all set up. And then 2 days later, I had to put them right back in the backyard.
You know.
So back and forth. You want to introduce your brother, your
Yeah.
brothers, and then your sister-in-law, and then we'll introduce Anna.
Yeah. Looks like Trevor just came on. Trev, welcome to the podcast.
Nice to meet you virtually, Trevor. I've never met any of your family.
Yeah, I know. He's probably listening. He's a busy, man.
He's the one in North
Oh,
Dakota.
there he is. Oh, he's on the job, it looks like.
Working man.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with him. Anyways, what's up?
Did you introduce? Is it
Keston? We got
Keston? Okay.
Keston.
I can't read the names.
What are you up to, man? Hanging
Nothing
out?
much. Just
Muted yourself again?
I didn't want to hold the space bar, but
All good.
yeah, there's a lot of smoke down here. Like over the weekend, like you couldn't even see like 2 blocks down. You could just see smoke. It just looked like fog pretty much, but the smoke was way bad. And like last week, there would be like I'm in Bellflower, right above Long Beach,
Mhm.
and it pretty much just looked like a bunch of fog. And when my car would be covered in ash in the mornings and stuff, not too bad, but there'd be ash on it definitely, and you just drive and it'd fly off.
Right. What about protests and things like that? You've been down there in the you still drive through Compton once in a while?
No.
No.
No, when I go through Compton, it's just like on the freeway, just cruising through there.
Oh, I see.
But,
You're in Long Beach, you said?
yeah, right above Long Beach.
Is that like near Venice or close?
It's
my way off?
No, it's east. Venice is kind of right by the coast, by
Oh, okay.
I think west of LA.
Oh, I don't know.
And I'm
About
like-
California, apparently.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. You want to introduce Angela? That's your sister-in-law, right?
Yep.
This is the JP family reunion.
I
Thank
guess
you
so,
for
yeah.
joining.
I'm glad all you guys came out to say hi.
It's a lot of support, man. It's awesome. Where's my family at? I asked them earlier today if they'd like to come on. They said, hell no. I'm like, all right, appreciate it. My family's very anti-spotlight or any kind of attention, and they don't want to be known. They don't want their names out. They don't want to talk on the phone. They don't want to call me. They don't want to send me birthday presents. Nothing.
Well,
I'm kidding. They're just very shy people.
that's all good, man.
And I'm
It's all
complete
good.
opposite. I'm an obnoxious mosquito. But tell us about Angela.
Oh, what do we?
I
Which-
have a 9-month-old and a 4-year-old right here that are being very loud. So I'm the sister-in-law in North Dakota. We don't have any fires, but we have definitely had the dramatic weather changes from 90 to 30 and then back up again, and it's been kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
absolutely.
miss North Dakota's weather.
No.
I lived there for 2.5 years. JP, what, 7, 8?
It was a long time. 5, 6, 7. It's something
Yeah,
like
we
that.
both lived there for work, but man, that's rough. So are you married to Trevor? Excuse me if I'm wrong on that.
Right.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. Awesome. And Miss Anna, come on down from Something Weird Podcast, our farthest guest tonight, all the way out in Melbourne, Australia. How are you,
Yes.
Anna?
I am still in isolation. I think it's coming up on month 6, so haven't gone outside today for my 1 allotted hour. But other than that,
Wow, you're allowed only an hour a day?
hour a day to exercise.
What? I heard Australia
Yeah.
was rough, but damn, that's crazy. Are you trying to come back to the States? And can you?
Yes, eventually. Well, if I leave now, I won't be allowed back in because I'm still working on all my visa all that fun stuff. But yeah, I think I miss home.
Yeah. I
Probably
bet.
do a year out here.
How do they know if you've been out for longer than an hour? Do you got to fill out a time, punch in, punch out?
Great question. How is
I've
that monitored?
actually wondered that because I've definitely broken that rule a few times,
Ooh,
taken
you're
a
going
little
to
longer
jail.
stroll. But yeah, the fine is like $2,000. So
Damn.
yeah, I'm not exactly sure how they're
So like
enforcing that.
everybody's assigned a drone and it just flies above your house watching you.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Damn, man, that makes me really grateful for our situation.
I know. I didn't even know that the cases were that bad down there for it to be that serious.
They're not, but
Oh.
they're very strict here in Victoria. So we're the only state that is as locked down as we are. So they're really, really trying to get the cases to zero.
Yeah.
So does that make it like, are they seeing a decrease in the numbers that they're making up, or is it where does that fall with the stats? Like, are they seeing any progress with that strict situation?
We are. I think it's been less than 100 new cases for the past week or so. So we'll see. We'll see as soon as everyone goes back outside, though, how that works.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
nuts.
It's a big shrug.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I didn't realize you were in that situation. That's rough. Raise your hand on this call if you have COVID or you have gotten COVID. Exactly.
Yeah. Nobody.
Nobody. I think it's a lot less threatening than people are making out to be.
I don't know anybody who's even gotten it.
Yeah, I made my spill on this a lot, man. I'm so frustrated with COVID. I don't think I'm not saying it's not real. I'm sure it is real, but it's nowhere near as bad as they make it out to be. And it's purely a propaganda weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ridiculous how much we're being controlled by it and how much it's messing everybody's lives up in their jobs, their businesses, all that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
For everybody listening, nobody raised their hand.
Yep.
Nobody.
Thank
you all for coming on. This is awesome to have everybody on here. Let's see if I have anybody else waiting because I can't see the invite thing. Okay, we're good for now.
Yep, we're good for now.
JP, take it for a moment. Got to check something real quick. Pick a person and start talking to them. Bring up a subject. Play a game show.
Well, today I've been digging into the UFO things. I don't know why today was UFO day. Has anybody had any experiences with UFOs? Nobody seen one? Anything like that? Know somebody who's seen one? Video?
Anna was abducted.
Oh. That's how you got all the way to Australia. That's where they dropped you off.
It would explain a lot.
Yeah, I was seeing somebody, I think it was Tripoli, who posted a UFO video, and it turns out it was the Goodyear blimp, according to the news.
Oh, is that the one you sent me?
Yeah.
That one that was idling above the town?
Yeah.
That didn't look like a
Goodyear
blimp.
but it
sounds like a cover-up.
just, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to believe, but I don't know. I think they're out there. Did you look into the Dark Knight or the Black?
Not yet.
What's it called?
What is the Dark Knight satellite or
Black
whatever
Knight
it is?
satellite?
Batman satellite?
I don't know. Supposedly it's just something that like NASA is keeping under wraps, but it's been out there forever. What you got, Tim?
Tim, bring it on, brother.
Well, you had to bring up the UFO, so I got to share with you guys something I learned a few years ago. So I had this friend. I hadn't seen her in years. I bumped into her at Whole Foods, and she started sharing these people with me that she was listening to, and I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." And I wasn't paying attention to her, and then she started saying this brilliant shit would come out of her mouth, and I'm like, "Where is this coming from?" So finally, I asked her, "I'm like, where are you getting this from?" And so anyway, she shared these people with me. Well, there's this guy named Daryl Anka. Okay, and he actually channels an alien named Bashar. And you guys everybody listen here, you got to check this shit out, because I don't know who this guy is, but I've never heard anybody speak like this before. And I've been to many professional speaking events and groups and stuff like that. I've listened to all of his videos, and there's never been a verbal mistake.
Really?
Not one. He's been Q&A'd. He actually went to, I think it was in Ireland doing a talk, and he talked Ireland accent the whole time, just random out of nowhere. So
Wow.
check out, yeah. So this guy, Daryl Anka, got a vision, or not a vision, but he saw a spaceship with his friends in the 70s and saw it again. And then he started channeling this dude, and it comes out to be an alien. Anyway, but the stuff that he's actually channeling will blow your mind, because if you actually apply it to your life, it works unbelievably well.
Yeah. What's his
So
name?
there you go.
What'd you say his name was? I'm gonna write this down.
It's Bashar, B-A-S-H-A-R, Bashar. And he gets interviewed by this one guy, and this guy's like, well, where are you from? And he's like, I'm from the planet Esasani. Oh man, it's crazy. You guys have to check it out. It's a lot of fun. But to me, it's like, I don't care where he comes from or who he is or whatever, but the information that he, tells you, shares with you, if you apply it to your life, it'll help you in your life radically. But again, never a verbal mistake, and not one video. And I had to watch all of them because I got curious. I'm like, how's this guy not making a pause or an or a ah ever? So it's pretty mind blowing. So that's my UFO. That's the only thing I know about UFOs. I listened to an alien, so that's all I got.
So yeah, now that makes me wonder if he's like an alien himself, or if he's some kind of like
I think he is.
alien medium where they speak through him. I don't know.
Maybe he's just like a host, and
you guys will all be tripping if you watch a whole bunch of videos and listen to it all and put it all together. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
That is crazy. Thanks for sharing that, Tim. Anybody else have any weird alien connection stories or heard anything crazy lately?
I've never seen one.
I have, but I don't want to talk about it.
No, let's hear it.
You guys heard about the celebrities freezing their social accounts for 24 hours? I can't say this without laughing. Kim Kardashian and Mark Ruffalo and a couple other celebrities nobody gives a shit about is freezing their Facebook and Instagram today up until tomorrow, 24 hours or some crap. I don't know when they're going to start. But they're doing 24-hour freeze to protest against the misinformation that's out on Facebook and Instagram. So I'm sorry to let you guys know this, but you will not see Kim Kardashian, Mark Ruffalo, or a few other C-level celebrities that nobody cares about for the next 24 hours. So whatever they were going to post, maybe a picture of their meal or a new outfit they got, I don't know, a quote from a movie, I don't care, don't know, but we don't get to share that with them.
Dang
so
it.
that's on us, guys. We have to think about ourselves for this one.
So 24 hours apiece, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Wow.
So find something else to do with your time. Maybe live your own life. I don't know. It's just an idea. Just live your own life for 24 hours and don't care about celebrities. Unless you think we're celebrities, then care about us.
I mean, the idea it's a good idea. I mean, behind it, why they're doing it, but it's just, there's
Yeah,
no
but what the
effect.
hell
Like,
does
there's
that do, man?
yeah, there's
Like,
no
at
effect.
least do a week, 24 hours. It's like, I want to take a break, but I really can't take too much of a break.
Yeah.
I'll do Facebook, Instagram, but I'm not doing Twitter. I'm going to be on Twitter. So if y'all want to tweet at me, tweet me.
Jeez,
But everything else, I will be blacked out for the next 24 hours. That's the
insane.
dumbest, most self-absorbed crap I've ever heard in my life. Let's see, what else do I have? I want to pick your mom's brain. I know your mom. I don't know if your mom can talk a whole lot about what she does for a living, but your mom does a lot of interesting things and has worked with a lot of interesting situations. Miss Delinda, I don't know if you, and when I say miss, that's because I'm from the South, and I don't mean any disrespect. Sorry, I'm a clown. Are you allowed to talk about your work at all or any of your experiences? Because you have a very fascinating work life.
Well, yeah, I am a Wyoming Medicaid waiver case manager, and I work with dual diagnosed adults. I have a huge caseload. It's like I inherited 34 kids plus another 34 with their guardians.
Yeah.
I'm also a guardian of some individuals, so I just help them make, good decisions for themselves. And I have stories like you would not believe.
I bet.
Just because, I'll tell you what, if you ever think one day that you have nothing to be grateful for, be grateful.
Call you.
Because the people that I work with have taught me a lot, and I am so grateful that I don't have their problems.
Yeah.
I work with I have some autistic people on my caseload, and talk about genius,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a guy on my caseload, he'll ask you your birthday one time, and my birthday is July 27th, and he'll say, what year? And I'll say 1969, and he'll say, you were born on a Sunday. And he will never,
Wow.
ever forget your birthday from that day forward.
Nope.
And it was funny
Crazy.
because I don't work for the provider, I'm self-employed, I work from home. But I had gone to one of the group homes, and a staff walked up to me, and they're like, are you Delinda? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, we have the same birthday. You know, this participant told us that we have the same birthday, and I just like, and he can, you know, he can tell you what day of the week you were born on. And of course I had to go and research that, and I was born on a Sunday, you know. He's just got that mathematical equation in his mind. You know, it's just pretty neat. I work with, a lot of my folks can be very violent.
Yep.
A lot of them, I work with introverted schizophrenics. I work with extroverted schizophrenics. I mean, I could tell you a lot of stories, but I would feel like I was making fun of, or, you know, my folks. I will tell you this story about this gal because she has passed away. And I loved working with her, and I hated working with her because she was such a challenge, but she loved coffee. And Willie, when you sent me the message on Instagram and talked about, you know, what I do because of, you know, Justin and whatnot, she's the one that I thought of. But it was when I did work for Mountain Regional, and she was in my office, and she loved coffee. Absolutely just loved coffee. And she got mad at me in my office, and I happened to have a cup of coffee from Loaf and Jug sitting on my desk. So she grabbed my coffee and went to throw it at me. But when she brought it back, the lid came off and coffee spilled on the desk. And so she immediately dropped the cup, and she goes and starts like lapping the coffee off my desk. And I just
let it go to waste.
you know, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know. And again, just one of those situations where you go, oh, thank God I don't have those problems, you know. Like I said, she's passed away, but that was one of my fonder moments with her, and I don't know why. Maybe because the coffee probably saved my life that day, because I have had people come across the desk, you know, trying to get me, and I've had to get up and leave my office because they wouldn't leave, you know. So it's taught me a lot about life. It definitely has. And it's taught me a lot about patience. It's taught me a lot about, you know, perspective, I guess.
Yeah.
Man,
So,
that's
and
crazy.
Justin used to work there. You know, a lot of the people that I work with are from one provider, and the provider's known for taking some of the most violent folks in the state of Wyoming. You know, we have the state hospital here in Evanston, but I love my job. I really do. It's very challenging, and I get overwhelmed, of course. I have a lot of people, like max caseload should be like 18, and right now I have 32, you know, so it's a lot. It's just a lot to keep track of, and you know,
really
so, but yeah, never a dull
Yeah,
moment for sure.
That's crazy. How much coffee was she allowed in a day? Was there like a cutoff limit for her?
There was, and you know, that.
Did she fight you guys on that?
Yeah, she would sneak, you know, and like, I mean, it was funny. It was funny at the time, you know. I was just like, oh my gosh, you know.
That's wild. How do you handle like security for yourself there? Like if somebody was to attack you, or do you have anyone there to protect you?
Yeah. Like I said, I don't work there. I used to work there, but I don't work there anymore. But I do go to group homes and whatnot. And if somebody charges me, and I did have a guy charge at me, I think it was last month when I was in his home, and the staff just step in between, you know.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yep, they train you to.
Is that what you used to do, Justin, JP?
Yeah,
They do. They
to
train you to
handle
physically
situations.
restrain, although that's very frowned upon anymore by the state of Wyoming, by, you know, CMS, which is Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. They don't like you to restrain people anymore, and, you know.
Yeah.
So.
That takes a special person to be able to put up with all that and still have a positive attitude. It's really awesome that you can do that.
Yeah.
Justin talks really highly about you with that too. That's your calling for sure. You're doing a lot of amazing work with that.
Yep, it's challenging, but it's very rewarding at the same time.
I bet. Yeah, that's awesome.
And Justin, I just want to say, on the pictures you did put on Instagram, the UFO,
Yeah.
like the giants, the second picture,
Oh yeah.
I totally believe there were giants.
That's wild, right?
I'm on the fence about UFOs. I just am not a UFO person, but like the giants and whatnot, I totally believe that there were giants that walked the earth.
Oh, that's the skeleton in the ground of a big species.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen stuff about that. They had a show that I used to watch that got really corny, so I stopped watching it. But it was called Unearthed, I believe, on Discovery Channel. But they were digging into all these old myths and stuff, and they had a lot of things about different giant species that were among us at one point, and some of them are supposedly from my old heritage, Norway, that came over. There was a lot of Norwegian giants. I didn't get that gene. I'm only 5'10", so not happy about it. But yeah, that's crazy. I think there were, because they talk about in the Bible too, whether the Bible's real or not, we don't know. But there's giants in the Bible too. So there's a lot of stuff with the Bible. I mean, a lot of stuff with giants all over old culture.
And I will say real quick too, and I know P-Hud had his hand up, but Justin's grandma, my mom, used to live in Las Vegas, and she saw a big metal. She said it was huge. It was huge, and it was just a big metal, just like a flat piece of metal, and it was in the sky, and it hovered for about a week. She used to work at UMC. It's a University Medical Center in Las Vegas. And she said it just hovered there, and she said it was huge. And she would see it every morning, but then one day she went and it was just gone. So
really?
she swore it was a UFO. I don't know. But I have to believe her because she's my mom, and she wouldn't just make that up.
Wow, I'm going to have to ask her about this.
You'll have to talk to, yeah, you'll have to ask her about it, Justin, if you haven't. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. P-Hud, what you got, man? I know we're going to go into some deep stuff with you. I don't know if you're ready for that now. We can do it.
No, I'll be ready when you are. But when she said giants, I was like, huh? Because that's definitely part of what I'm going to talk about tonight. That's involved with Anunnaki and all that whole story. So we'll definitely be getting into the giants when you're ready.
Yeah, let's do it. For everybody, P-Hud is a long friend of mine, long life friend of mine, or long term. I don't know how to say it without sounding weird, but yeah, we've been friends for a long time, and we worked together several years ago. And I really appreciate him. He's a really awesome guy. I've said it before on his other podcast when he was on us. You can tell the tequila's kicking in the can. Get our words together. Hey guys, cut off. Sorry. Paul called me the other day and was talking about some really deep stuff, and I was like, man, I don't want to waste this conversation. This is really cool. I think other people would appreciate it and relate to it, because as you guys know, who anybody listens to this podcast, I've been talking and hitting around at spirituality stuff and kind of jumping back and forth the different fences of where I stand with everything, and simulation, Christian, Matrix. I don't know. I'm all over the place lately, and Paul made some really great points and brought up some interesting stuff that I wanted to share with you guys. And he's actually the idea that made me want to pitch this idea to have a group talk for the 50th episode, because in our conversation, I figured we could have a bunch of different conversations like this and share it and just make it a fun, open platform. So P-Hud, the floor is yours, bro. Let's hear it.
All right. Well, thanks, you Willie, JP. So
Mr. You
the Anunnaki episode was, I found very interesting, because if y'all didn't hear it, just to give a super high level recap, was basically they talked about the Anunnaki were sort of godlike beings that came to Earth from other places, and I'm going to paraphrase heavily, so forgive me if I miss a few points, but basically they came from other planets or other places, godlike beings. They started, doing stuff on Earth, inhabiting, making things, causing, I guess, fights or cataclysms that would, destroy things. The suggestion was maybe that they had something to do with the pyramids and all of the other similar structures over the planet that we still can't seem to explain how they were built, and that some of the lesser godlike beings kind of got fed up with doing the grunt work. So if I remember correctly, they sort of created man to kind of do the scut work,
Right.
So parts of what he was saying really resonated with me, just from, my background is growing up Christian in a Baptist church, moving into non-denominational, but just having a religious or a Christian background and doing a lot of the reading in the Bible. And just as a kid, I mean, obviously giants, Revelation, Armageddon, all that kind of stuff was fascinating. So when I heard that, it really piqued my interest. And that's what led to the conversation with you, Willie. So that was just a few days ago. So kind of just tried to skim the high points, get some information. If it turns out to be something really interesting, we could do a deeper dive on it another time. But basically, I just kind of wanted to start with well, okay, I was going to say the beginning, but that was a horrible pun. So, yeah, we'll start at the beginning.
Of time.
Yes, exactly. So, I'm going to mention a few scriptures or a few places in the Bible, but there are just lots of scriptures that can be pulled up to reference the things I'm going to talk about. But like I said, Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created, I was going to read it just because I'm nervous. I don't want to blow it. The one verse.
You're with
everybody
family, Paul. Take a
probably-
deep breath. We all love you here. We're here to
So,
support you.
yeah, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. It's kind of like the one everybody knows. But one of the things that we have to remember that the Bible was written in Greek and Hebrew and Aramaic. And so the words that they use sometimes have a lot of different meanings. And make or made or created is one of those things where we use one word, created or made. Oh, I made this. Like, okay, but in those other languages, they can have multiple meanings. And in this case, verse 1 says God created everything. Well, that particular word means that he created it out of nothing. And the subsequent words, when he creates the sun and man and the animals, that version of make or create means to create something out of something. So just like, Steve Jobs created the iPhone, he didn't create it out of nothing like a god. He created it, he made it out of other things in the same way. So that's just one of the differences. Now, one of the things that I've always that's interested me, struggled with, and I hear a lot, it's a big struggle for a lot of Christians and just people in general, is the Bible says the earth is 6,000 to 10,000 years old, but yet we have fossils and carbon dating that puts things millions of years old. So a lot of times people will just blow it off or whatever, but it's actually pretty easy to explain if you actually read the Bible. And then a lot of the reference material that I got this from just for sourcing is from, it's a book called God's Plan for Man by Finis Jennings Dake. And he really breaks it down, gets into the original languages, the meanings, and all that kind of stuff. So you have the beginning, creation, Genesis 1:1. Then you have Genesis 1:2, which says, and the earth was without form and void, and the darkness was upon the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So you have to question yourself, why would a God that can create something out of nothing in one verse, and then in verse 2, why do you have it's formless and void, it's a wreck? Well, that's because you have this period of unknown time in between verse 1 and 2. And again, multiple references in the Bible to this, but God's not going to create something that's basically broken. So what happened is, and the references in the Bible, which I found fascinating in reading over this, was that it talks about other planets. It talks about heaven and angels and as real creatures moving to the different places, coming up and down to earth. It mentions that Lucifer, or as we call him, Satan, was one of the top angels in heaven, and he actually ruled over earth. It talks about him having a throne. There's mentions, if he's ruling over earth, and there must be therefore a social order, there must be things to rule over, people and things like that. So in the classic story in the Bible where Satan, corrupts everything, Lucifer, he rebels, and it refers to him moving up through the clouds to heaven above. So it kind of points towards heaven, where God was, as being a physical place above the earth, somewhere, as we would say, maybe north in the universe. I mean, again, not that we can find that or know where it is, but
Yeah.
But
hang on one second, Paul.
Yeah.
Anna's got to jump off. She's got another call to go do.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Anna, I don't know if can you hear me? Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you joining us. If you are still around later, come back on, because we'll be doing this for a couple hours, and it's only going to get sillier. You have a 50th episode coming up too, huh? Do you guys, have you recorded it yet? Or y'all do anything crazy, or are y'all normal and not going to go crazy like us?
I wouldn't say normal, but normal. We haven't done anything super wild. So it was great seeing and meeting all of you. And sorry, I have to go.
Hey, that's
Thanks
all
for
right.
joining us. I appreciate you hopping in.
Yeah.
Happy
we'll see you next
50th.
time. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. All right, P-Hud.
Okay.
Continue.
So it mentions, him moving up through the clouds to attack heaven, going through the atmosphere. So, for those kind of descriptions, you're talking about something physical. But so obviously he lost, and that's why the earth was cursed. There was another big flood that destroyed everything, and that's why verse 1, he made everything. This unknown time in the past where all this occurred, other beings, just lots of mentions in the Bible about basically, the planets and the suns communicating with each other. And it was just, everything was all connected. And so part of me, this kind of clicks on a lot of the things that we have going on now, where you have, actually, I thought it was interesting that Stephen, I think it was Stephen, I'm sorry, or Tim, I'm sorry, I don't remember, mentioning the person who was communicating with aliens or whatever,
That
that
was
people
Tim.
Tim, okay,
Yeah.
talking about multidimensional universes, people communicating, energy and all this kind of stuff. And I believe that's all versions and things. The reason that's, people talk about that is because back in this time before Genesis 1-2, there was a lot of that kind of stuff that was going on. The supernatural was pretty normal. Let's see. The Bible does refer to those unseen worlds of spirits, and you call them dimensions, or put whatever modern terminology we want to put on it. But there was all these things going on. So if there was nothing before Adam, if everything started with Adam, then where would the fossils come from? Where would the dinosaur bones come from? Where would all this kind of stuff come from, except that there was a real thing that was there. There was something going on. And so, when Lucifer rebelled and attacked, then he got his butt kicked, and then God cursed him, cursed the earth, and just wiped everything out. And then finally decided to start over with the beginning of Genesis, when we move into what we consider our creation story of Adam. But so one of the let's see.
Man, I kind of regret letting you talk at this part of the episode because I forgot Monica hasn't jumped in yet. I really wanted Monica's take on this too. We'll have to touch base with her whenever she gets in and kind of give her a recap, because she's got a very interesting mind, and I know that you're a big fan of her. I wanted her to get some feedback for you.
So one of the
on that part of it.
Okay, yeah, we certainly could have done that. One of the interesting and very clearly stated verses, and I'm not going to read many, but this was one that I remember from as a child, and then just found it again, was in Genesis 6:4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. So it's mentioning in those days and also after that. So you have a reference to the time period pre-Adam and after Adam. And so in other spots, it talks about the giants too. Now everybody knows the story of David and Goliath, and he was reported that he was about 13 feet tall, and his armor weighed like 200 pounds. But he was, not a huge giant compared to some of these other guys. And then one of the another verse refers to for only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of the giants. Behold, his bedstead, or his bed, made of iron, blah blah blah. It length was 4 cubits, and the breadth after the cubit of. So basically, when you translate that, his bed was 18 feet long and 8.5 feet wide. So I get that right? Yeah.
Damn,
18 by 8, King. Basically.
The what? He's got that Cali King.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, put together a couple of. So I mean, we're talking about people that were, if your bed's 18 feet, that means he's pretty darn close to 18 feet tall. And he was the and he was the last one of his kings. So, and it also mentions in another verse that these giants reproduced, but with themselves. But an interesting phrasing, though, in that first one was that the sons of God came unto the daughters of men. and a lot of people have said that, oh, well, the sons of God were just the Christians were normal men, but that really doesn't follow with any kind of logic, because you're basically, if you're going to go with that really super biblical terminology, you're saying Christians marrying non-Christian women are going to create giants. So, and clearly, that kind of stuff goes on now, and we're not popping out giants. I haven't seen any 3-foot baby. I don't know. God only knows how big the babies were, so I don't even want to think about that.
Glad I'm a man.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
Not having
exactly.
giant babies.
But so these were angels that were basically coming down or were here and reproducing with women. So not only are we talking about creating supersized people, but we're also talking about creating people that probably had some supernatural abilities as well. So that, again, we take Greek mythology, for example, which, mythology is an outgrowth of tradition, storytelling, legends. And so basically the pre-Adam times, and then even after Adam up through Noah, you've got these giants on the land. That could be a very good explanation for the pyramids, because you have these partly supernatural beings that would have, partly supernatural powers that would be able to do things that we can't explain and do now, even with all of our technology. I mean, these guys were not of Adamite stock, as you might say. These were not from Adam. So that's, could be an explanation. Again, like I said, I skimmed on this a good bit. I did some reading, but I could very much easier to go into a big deeper dive on this. But I thought it was interesting too. I think, Tim, you might have to correct me, the name of that alien or whatever, what was it, Bashar or something?
Bashar, yeah.
Bashar. When you said that, I kind of like my ears perked up, because it mentions that king. Oh shoot, I just lost it. Okay, pulled off my tab. But anyway, it said that the king of Og was of the land Bashan, Bashan, and I just thought that was interesting that the spelling was so close. I don't know if there's any, correlation to that. And then another interesting correlation, I thought, because the episode that got me peaked on this was the Anunnaki. And in this verse, it says, and now there we saw the giants, the son of Anak, A-N-A-K, which come of the giants, again, showing that the giants were actually reproducing with each other. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, so we were in their sight. Obviously, it's a hyperbole. I mean, they weren't literally grasshoppers, but the point is, I thought it was interesting that this race of giants were called Anaks, A-N-A-K,
Yeah.
the sons of Anak, and then the whole thing with the Anunnaki. So there's so many cultures and so many things where these kind of things happen. I remember a story of when I was younger about a missionary who went to Africa to preach the gospel, and he goes out to this very remote tribe. I think, if I remember correctly, he was greeted with an arrow basically and almost died, but they saved him. And so eventually he was able to talk to him and about Jesus and the message. And their answer was, oh, that's his name. We didn't know his name, but that's who we've been worshiping this whole time. So this remote tribe out in the middle of nowhere, no contact ever with a white man or with anybody else, had basically, been worshiping someone that fit the exact description that this missionary came to him. So it doesn't surprise me that, that like Greek mythology, the Anunnaki, maybe Bashan, I don't know. That just may be, just blind coincidence that those names are similar. But I just found it interesting, because Delinda mentioned the giants, and, there's references, just dozens and dozens of verses that talk about the giants in the Bible. And the whole situation with the Anunnaki is so similar to what the Bible talks about with Lucifer, angels coming up in different, all the different things. And so I just found it really interesting. And then also, E. Willie had mentioned, so I just had mentioned, oh, well, what if this is all a simulation and all that kind of stuff. And I felt like, the Bible gives us, what we need now, basically. It's not the answer. It gives us a lot more if you really dig into it, because it talks about, it basically refers to an entire dateless timeless past that we have no idea how long it was, but that there were angels mixing with humans and coming down, war between heaven and the angels and all this kind of stuff. So it's just very easy to see where you have this whole concept of aliens and other races and species and planets and all that kind of stuff, how it can all easily fit together still under the umbrella of, you know, God as a creator. Or if you don't like God, then you can go with a, intelligent designer.
Yeah,
I read
basically it all comes down to that there is a creator of some kind. There's no
there's
beginning without some type of creator.
Absolutely. I started reading a book called The Fingerprint and the DNA, and it goes into that in detail about how the more we get in science, the more we learn about even something as simple as DNA, that there has to have been an intelligent designer. There's no way this could have randomly happened. So that's why it doesn't bother me. I don't sweat it when people say, oh, well, the Big Bang is how it happened. Or maybe this is like you had mentioned, you were talking about those people that say this is a simulation. Oh, that would be so freaky. I don't think so, because yeah, sure. Okay. It would be a little weird if this is all simulation or if the Big Bang happened that way. But the bottom line for me is that somebody still had to create that whatever exploded. Somebody had to create the program that we're in. So for me, there's still I call it God, or an intelligent designer, if you will, or whatever you want to call the supreme being that's behind it all. To me, it doesn't change my faith in what I believe. It just it's fun to talk about and to try to figure out what's up.
Right. It's super interesting too that there's so many common stories when it comes to the Bible, and with like all the cuneiform tablets and things like that, with the major floods and, like you said, angels and things like that, which, I mean, in their tablets they're considered gods, but it's similar, there's so many similar stories. And they say they've only translated so many of those tablets, like 6% or I don't know, 100% exactly, out of the thousands that there are.
That's so crazy.
It's almost like, but with the Bible, it's maybe you have like a sneak peek preview of somebody who could translate that back in the day and made it the Bible. I don't know. It's
well,
just an interesting
exactly. It refers to God tells Adam to be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. Well, if you just pay attention to that word replenish, you can't replenish something that wasn't already plenished. I don't even know if that's a word. Right. But the point is, if he's replenishing the earth, repopulating it, then that means it was populated before.
Wow, yeah.
And we have fossils, that are millions of years old that we can't explain. Mm-hmm. And yet, I didn't research this, but I remember years ago someone saying that they had done some sciencey stuff to the Van Allen belts, the radiation belts around the Earth, right, and that it dated the rate of decay, blah, 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 science. It was about 6 to 10,000 years old, which would be supported by the creation story of the Earth being 6 to 10,000 years old, but yet we still have fossils that say something happened millions of years before that. Right. And so in my mind and limited research, it kind of fits together,
Super interesting, yeah.
So I hope everybody's still awake and that wasn't too boring, but
I loved it. I'm a big fan as well of Donanaki and everything Sumerian and all that stuff too. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I get a kick out of that stuff.
And when we talked about it the other day, it was impressive what you were saying too, and I really wanted to share that with everybody because I didn't.
Well, I appreciate it.
A waste of a conversation to just talk on the phone.
No, but I do
Carlisle
appreciate you letting me
popped in here for a second. She's gonna come back. It looks like, yeah, man, that is crazy to think about. And what you said about how it has to be something created at all, basically, is what I kind of lean towards now. So I can kind of ride my faith train thing and keep going with it.
Absolutely.
Just something created it all, man. There's no other explanation. Whether we don't know what the hell it is, but something did it.
Yeah, you can question, that's the free will that we have, that according to my belief system that God gave us. And that's why it points out in other spots in the Bible too, that everything that God has created has free will. That's why the angels were able to rebel. When Lucifer fell, he took 1/3 of all the angels with him because he convinced them, and then everyone on earth, to rebel against God. Tower of Babel story in the Bible. They were building a tower to heaven to reach God, and he finally was like, "Yeah, I don't think so." And that's when he scattered the people, changed their languages. So it's everything in the Bible points to God, everything being physical. That there's a physical God. The angels are real. And now, excuse me, the fallen angels, which I guess we would call demons now, they're here, they're around us. And, it's pretty interesting. It's fun.
Yeah.
We could go way deeper, but I can't now. I'm pretty much, that's what I've got, but
Yeah. Well,
fascinating,
we'll have to do another episode with you and go deeper into that kind of stuff. And
Is Nancy Pelosi a demon?
yes, I'll answer that. Yes.
I can't confirm or deny
Chuck Schumer is
that.
too. Confirmed.
She scares me.
I think maybe all politicians are. I don't know.
I feel like Nancy Pelosi, if she was in a long conversation, part of her face would just fall off. Like she's not even all together. Like she's like a
decaying.
Yeah, she's like a freaking Walking Dead zombie that's not all together.
Hillary.
Now that's not nice. They would use much better quality glue. There's nothing ever going to fall off of that. I heard a comedian recently.
I was set up. I was set up in the salon. I was set up.
Yeah.
Only psychos want true power, and all the good people serve them. And if the good people get too loud, then they take them out. The way things are going lately, I'm feeling like that's more and more accurate. We only have psychos who want to be in charge.
Oh, yeah.
Let's call
Did you
out
guys
more
see?
demons, Tim.
Did you guys see that meme that with Nancy where it was like it said the person who's third in line for the nuclear keys got duped at her salon or something like that.
That's ridiculous. It's sad but true. I was set up by a hair salon. Two lovely ladies that run a hair salon. They sabotaged me.
The cosmetology school has got me again.
Crazy world we living in right now. Who else are demons, guys? Who do y'all think is an alien and who do you think is a demon? I got a lot of predictions.
I don't know.
I think Michael Jackson was definitely an alien because nobody should be able to dance that good, make awesome music like that. That makes me dance no matter what mood I'm in, and be that creepy. Yeah, the dude was an alien.
Super strange guy. I think Britney's a clone.
Britney's a clone. John Travolta might be an alien.
Maybe Britney's program got corrupted.
Tom Cruise is an alien. Who's the guy behind Scientology who invented it? Who got
L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh, look at Paul with the win for 100 points.
Yep.
This looks like a game show the way y'all are all in a little square. So we might just do like a point system and start asking trivial questions.
What do we win, Bob?
Keston, what are you doing over there, man? You playing a video game? Watching a movie? I see some action lights going down.
Yeah, I got the game going, but
What are you playing?
I play like Rocket League. That's what I got on right now.
Rocket League. Oh man, too bad David's not on. David Quadnet is a huge Rocket League.
Dude, there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a Truth or Theory video game coming out soon. I didn't want to
Oh,
spoil
yeah?
the news, but yeah, it's I guess 50th episode's a good place to make the announcement. You can
It's gonna
play as
be like-
me, RJP, and just run around in the world. It's a free open world, and or you can play as the White Rabbit too. And
Yeah.
it's bizarre. Yeah, it's kind of like Grand Theft Auto, but
You got to go back in
For
time
children.
and save JFK and stop
Yeah.
the World Trade Centers from getting
every,
blown up and all
every
that.
time you die and you respawn, you get sucked out of the rabbit hole and you fall back onto the land. Somebody needs to
That's
grow
not a
up.
bad idea.
Yeah, that would be fun as hell. I'd play it.
Man.
Tim, talk to me, Tim. You look like you're doing business while you're on this call. I know you don't stop. What are you doing?
I actually returned 2 emails and was chatting with my girlfriend.
Oh, inappropriate.
Somebody wanted to lower her cholesterol and another guy wanted to lose some weight. So I had to respond,
Can we, I know you get paid for this, but can we do like one question per participant on this podcast for a
Yeah,
health
let's
question?
do it because I have to work on my recipe. We're building a recipe book out. It's going to be badass. So I got to
Nice.
get done in about 20, 30 minutes max.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we can do the fire round. Let's do it.
Anybody have a health question for our health expert, Mr. Tim James of the Chemical Free Body? Don't be shy. P-Hud, Delinda, ladies first.
What is the best food that you can eat to help cure liver, like liver disease?
Okay.
Am I in the right realm here?
Well, yeah, I would say that the fresher the food, the better. And even like sprouts and stuff like that would be even better. So
Greens, okay.
yeah, greens, leafy green vegetables, but you have to be careful because a lot of people aren't eating a lot of those. Like 10 years ago, I wasn't like eating any. I mean, we'd have our garden stuff. I'd eat them then, but we'd cook them and then soak them in like a gallon of butter. So, so basically, when I had my health issues and I turned it around, I went to that Hippocrates Health Institute. They have all living foods. So this is like a healing diet, and it's a lot of raw and it's like sunflower sprouts and pea sprouts and broccoli sprouts and alfalfa sprouts and red clover sprouts. So sprouts are kind of the basis because they're about 30 to 50 times more nutritious than fresh picked vegetables. And the nutrition is there. Beyond vitamins and minerals and trace minerals, you also get hormones, oxygen, phytochemicals, and enzymes. So you're like a wild creature. You're like a chipmunk, right? So if you have liver disease, it's probably from overconsumption of animal products, alcohol, stuff like that. Maybe drug use. Maybe there's some, I've dealt with people with Hep C a lot.
Chemo. It's chemo too. It's my sister.
From chemotherapy. Yeah. So there's always, some other adjuncts that are, can cause the problem. Toxins. Would be a toxin. So her, like everybody else, we would do the same thing. We would help her clean out her digestive tract and purify her blood intercellularly, flood the body with good bacteria to recolonize the gut, which is one part of the immune system, flood her body with nutrition, and then put her, and that right there alone will help her, drinking more water and chewing her food well. JP and E-Will, you remember those core 4 secrets?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Drinking lots of purified water.
I'm struggling, but I'm trying.
Chewing your food really, really well. Avoiding liquids with meals to dilute those digestive enzymes you worked really hard to put into your food, and then doing a little breath work prior to eating to calm down. I actually just got an email from a guy was in a band, and he actually contracted Hep C. His liver was shot, and he did a lot of living foods and stuff. And that was 8 years ago, and he's down in Texas. He just sent me an email on an email blast we did, and he's like, my Hep C's gone and I'm doing great. So that was really cool. So products, we have products that'll help, and I'd probably refer her to a couple other products that are outside of our company, and then, put a little diet plan together for her. But, the thing of it is that does she want to change? That's the deal. Because if people don't want to change, then you can't push ropes. I tried that for the first 5.5 years. I don't do it anymore. We only work with people that are ready, willing, and able to change. But if they are, then they can heal themselves, because the immune system wants to run like a top. It's ready and willing. So if you just change the environment, there's a lot you can do. I'm not saying that, I'm not a doctor. I don't make claims, but I've seen a lot of people that even I didn't think could reverse things have done it. So human body is pretty amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mine wasn't so much a question as I just wanted to tell everybody else. I listened to the 2 episodes you did, and if you haven't done that, that was just mind blowing. The amount of stuff I didn't know, and the amount of crap that these corporations have done to our food, and the water thing blew me away, that they've ruined water that's coming out of my tap, or purified water. It just shocked me, and I just would encourage everybody to go listen to those episodes. They were amazing.
Yeah, thank you, man. That's appreciated. Yeah, water's a big deal. Your body's mostly made of it. So besides the air you breathe, you do about 20 to 30,000 breaths a day. So that's pretty important to get clean air. We're struggling with that in Oregon right now, but the forest fires, but purify your air. So like when I'll just give you an example. I have somebody, like anybody listening, you have any health issues, what we do is we help people clean up your air ducts and put a system inside the HVAC unit. So when the heat or the AC is coming out, that you're already dealing with it before it comes to you. You can put those units in your home, like, JP and E-Willie got there. They got that Himalayan salt lamp sitting there. That's producing negative ions that are cleaning the air. I have one behind me, so you have to have it if you're a podcaster. And, and if you're into health, right? But you can have those internal units. But if you don't have that, or you don't have the money for that, if you're not in a forest fire, crack your window at night when you sleep. I promise you, it'll add years to your life, and it'll be better, because even our paint right now inside of our houses and our commercial buildings is off-gassing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we're breathing in those nano-sized particles. You can't see them, and they attach to the mucous membrane in the back of the throat, and they end up in the digestive tract. Your body tries to stop them, but then they end up a lot of times going through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream and causing an internal inflammation. And over time, the shit just builds up. It's called bioaccumulation. We learned this at the Institute, and I was like floored when I learned it. I'm like, oh shit, I was like scared of everything. But now, purify your air, purify your water, eat clean, fresh food, and then, you know, just let nature take its course, you know, and then work on your stress levels. That's another big one.
That the window thing's really interesting because I grew up in the South, and we had a kind of a, I don't know if Paul had this too, but we had a thing where people used to say that you can't have your windows open when you're sleeping. It caused you to get like a chest cold and all this kind of crap. But we did it anyway when it was cooler, even though it was always hot. But up here in Colorado, I sleep with the windows open all the time because it feels fantastic. But so that's actually a good thing. That was a dumb myth that us rednecks came up with. Huh?
Yeah, it's a dumb one. And I used to be I still am a redneck. I'm still proud of it. I mean, why not? You know, it's like we got some common sense. Eastern Oregon.
That's not
so LeGrand. It's a small, like 11,000 people up in the mountains, and then I lived about 6-7 miles out of town at the base of Mount Emily.
So you're like a mountain redneck.
Yeah, pretty much. I was on that mountain a lot. But you know what's really scary is, like, did you know that inside of your home it's like a lot. It's like 10 to 11 times more dirty than the worst day in downtown USA, the most polluted cities. That's how polluted our homes are. You know, when you have MIT coming out and saying that laminate floors are directly linked to autism in children. Wow. That it's like smoking packs of cigarettes from them crawling around on the floor. I don't know, it's like 11 packs or something like that. It's terrible. And you have carpets that are made from what? Crude oil, processed with over 3,000 chemicals. The carpets are always off-gassing. They're having molds in them. And if you live in, you know, dust mites and all kinds of nasty crap in there, that's why we help people. If you're going to redo your floors, get rid of carpet, go to hardwoods and stone. Much cleaner, much healthier, easier to clean up. There's just, you know, all these little things. And then again, the paint off-gassing, the glues, putting your particle board together, the insulation, all of these microparticles are getting into it. So your home is very polluted. So it's so important to go outside. That's why it's idiotic to think that you need to quarantine people, getting them away from the sunshine, away from vitamin D that's going to boost their natural virus response, put them in a house where they're going to breathe in all these chemicals more and lower the immune system. It's the complete opposite of what we should be doing. We should be doing everything to boost immunity, and quarantining healthy people is stupid.
Right. I agree with you 100%.
Yep, 100%, man. That's awesome. Somehow, two of our guests just got in the same little square. It's really a magic trick. JP, do you want to explain? I don't know if it was explained earlier.
Yeah, I got the parents together there.
Oh, the parents.
Yeah. They're in the same house.
Look at that magic trick they did there. That's awesome.
That's cool.
Must be nice to have a supportive family.
It is.
You guys have any fun questions, like, you know, how to cure a hangover, or, you know, how to not lose your toe if you smash it with weights, you know, anything like that?
What is the best way? Is it, because I've heard you need salt, or you need to work out, or you need like sweat it out, or you need grease,
you need more alcohol,
greasy foods, yeah, or hair of the dog. What's the real trick?
Oh, well, it's hydration. And actually a pre-trick is while you're drinking, if you drink some booze, drink a glass of purified water, then drink some booze, drink some water. So you rotate water in between every drink. You'll actually hydrate faster. You'll actually experience more of a, I guess, buzz if you want to do that. And then you'll have less of a hangover. But what we do is like our green formula, we just have, I learned this from people. They're like, dude, those greens you have are like the best hangover cure in the world. So I've got my son down at U of O, and I've got a bunch of kids taking it now. I need to repackage it and just call it the hangover cure. Because this one lady was like, you know, if I drink a bottle of wine at night and I wake up in the morning and drink your greens with a bunch of water, my hangover's gone by 9 a.m. It's amazing. And I can get through my day and work. But if I drink 2 bottles of wine, I have to take 1 drink of yours before I go to bed and again at 6 a.m. and then I have no hangover. Dang. So that was the first few months that we had that product out. So that's a good way to do it. Lots of juices, lots of greens. Turmeric juice would be another thing. It's a good anti-inflammatory, and you've just inflamed yourself with alcohol. It's basically sugar. That's what alcohol is. It's a sugar.
Yeah, a lot of sugar.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if I can use the green drink to chase shots.
You can try.
Is there hangover remedies out there on the market? I don't know much about that.
Yeah, there's a lot that sell. I don't know if any of them work. I don't really drink anymore or get hungover. I used to. I wish I would have known about them back then, but
Yeah.
a
I
lot of
think
that stuff's
make
like
a lot of money
gimmicky
selling
things.
that.
Yeah. Some of them might be good. I don't know.
You should totally put the hangover package together and market it to college age people.
Yeah, we probably should. Just new label. Actually, I had a bar owner downtown that was in the mortgage business with me years ago, and he owns a bar down there. And they were selling. He'd buy a scoop of this from me for like $1. Actually, he was getting it cheaper because he was buying in the big bulk packs, but say under $1.50. And he was selling the drink for like $12-14 as the hangover cure. And it was a sports bar. So on Saturdays and Sundays, guys were coming in hungover from the day before, and he was just put a scoop of that in, shake it up, and sell it to them for like $12-14. And then while they were, doing their gaming and stuff like that or hanging out, they were getting their hangover was going away.
That's good. I do have one more thing. What's your thoughts about kombucha?
It depends. I mean, a lot of them you have to be careful because I would say, especially if you have not tested yourself for candida, you're going to feel, because what is kombucha? Well, you've got hopefully purified water. Some of it might just be filtered or who knows where it's come. So you got to make sure the water source is clean. Mm-hmm. You'd have to contact the company and find out what it is. Is it reverse osmosis? Is it distillation, deionization? Is it a crude filter system? What are they doing? It's just tap water that they run through a filter. What is it? Beyond that, then it's got yeast in it, right? And then they put some sugars in it to feed the yeast, which is okay. And then it a lot of times can convert to alcohol. So there's small amounts of alcohol in these kombuchas. In fact, some of them are actually sold because they're ramped up and they have more alcohol. They're sold in the alcohol section. So if you're in the conquest of disease, kombucha is probably not the best thing for you because it's got sugar and alcohol and yeast in it, 3 things that the body doesn't need excess of. But if you're, and if you have yeast, so this is something anybody can do. You can do this spit test and you find out if you have Candida albicans, which is a yeast overgrowth in the body. So if you've been stressed out, if you've had any pharmaceutical drugs in your lifetime, you've knocked out your good bacteria in your gut, and drinking booze does it too. And you want to rebuild that back up. And what's happened is the Candida has probably taken over. So about 60 to 70% of the people I'm talking to have Candida overgrowth. So what you do tomorrow morning, you just get a glass jar or a glass, wake up in the morning, before you drink anything, before you eat anything, don't brush your teeth, do not touch your mouth, fill that glass jar up with a little bit of water, work up about a quarter to dime size spit in the glass, set it down, go about your business, come back in 30 minutes and check. If your spit's still floating, that's good. If it grows legs downward or sinks to the bottom, you've got Candida albicans overgrowth. So you need to do that every day for 6 days in a row. And if any one of those days you get the legs going downward, it sinks to the bottom, you got Candida, and it's a problem. It will F up your liver. And Delinda was talking about liver issues later. It could be people have Candida, they have yeast issues and they have mold issues. So we take care of these harmful organisms, show people how to take care of them and get them back into balance. And kombucha is just going to feed into that. So, but if you're healthy and you don't have Candida albicans and you can get a good healthy kombucha with good water in it, then yeah, it's a hell of a lot better than a Diet Pepsi. They taste kind of sparkly, you know what I mean? And so it can be a darn good thing as something people can do. And some are more healthier than others. And some of these companies are actually putting some really good probiotics in with them. You just have to make sure that it's raw kombucha, not pasteurized, because if they pasteurized it, pasteurization means they heated it at high temperature. And that's going to kill the bacteria because bacteria don't live. That's why they refrigerate a lot of these probiotics, right? So if you're going to get lots of probiotics in the drink, they'll sell it to you as probiotics, but it's the corpse, it's the dead corpse of probiotics. There's no real benefit there.
Wow, interesting. Man, you tell us about all this good information, but then also all the stuff that you think you're getting that's good is probably not good.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing is that everything that we're doing that we think is healthier. Yeah. We're really, really far off, actually.
The effort is there.
Well, that's good news, right? Because 80% of us are overweight, obese, or morbidly obese, and we have to make some changes, and this world really needs to wake up. If we're going to, go against medical tyranny and government tyranny and stuff like that, we have to be strong physically. I mean, right now, think about it. We have these forest fires here in Oregon. If you have a fire and you have to evacuate your house, can you do it? Can you get yourself out of the house? Can you pack your shit and leave?
Yeah, I think about that a lot, man.
Can you grab your kids and your wife? Can you help everybody out of the house, right? Or or not. Some people need our help. They need us to be strong and healthy because they're in walkers. They can't do it themselves. They've let their body fade. They haven't exercised, and they've ate food from the grocery store that's packaged and cooked and canned, and they throw it in a microwave, and they go get flu shots, and they think this stuff is healthy. And it's like, and we wonder why we're all messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think about that all the time because I'm kind of a closet prepper and I have all kinds of gear and stuff and supplies. But I'm like, man, my cardio is garbage. If I ran down the neighborhood right now, I'm gonna be winded. I'm pretty strong for my size, but that's only gonna get me so far.
Yeah.
We go hiking often, and I carry my kids a lot because they fizzle out on me and stuff. But yeah, when it comes to hitting the fan and things go sideways quick, the cardio is definitely going to be important in the healthy lifestyle. So
Yeah.
that's something I need to address because
And you're pretty young too, so I would recommend some gentle high interval and high intensity interval training where you just go to a field and grass and just jog down to the football field and jog and sprint back and just jog sprint. You don't have to go full speed in the beginning. Just maybe do 4 of them, and over time work your way up to 15 of those without stopping.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying I'm young. I'm actually 64. I just look really good for my age.
Well, you must be on our products.
You know it.
Because you looked really old last time I saw you. Just kidding.
Damn it, Tim. That's awesome, though. I appreciate anybody else have a quick question for him before Tim has to cut out? Angela, you have any questions for the kids, yourself? Gaston, anybody?
Yeah, I got a question. Tim,
there you go.
I've listened to Sherry Rogers. I don't know if you know who she is. You probably do. She talks about cardio ion test, and it's in some of her books. What are your thoughts on the cardio ion test for health?
Never heard of it. I'm looking it up right now, though.
Wow. Stumped Tim.
Stumped.
Wow.
It's the health profile. Comprehensive array of parameters to determine nutritional status.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
Tim, if you could come more prepared next time, that'd be great.
So let me ask you the question, Stephen. Why were you looking for that? How did you find it? What was the problem you're trying to solve? Maybe I can just help you with what I know.
I've been to the doctor, and I've been a little pre-diabetic, and got some books on diabetes, and one of them was a book by Sherry Rogers, and a lot of the book, talks about everything that you can do and don't do, and a lot of supplements and stuff like that. But I think ultimately what her book leads to is the cardio ion test to determine your overall health profile, and it's a $1,000 test. It's very comprehensive.
Oh.
And I think it's hard to try to narrow things down. You can go easy on the sugars, you can take supplements, but sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes you still have a few overall problems, and it's tough to try to find somebody, I guess. Or would you recommend somebody? Is it just basically good to have a homeopathic doctor on board with you, or a nutritionist like yourself?
Well, the first thing I do is we usually get all the people that have tried it all. I've done everything. I've tried all the doctors. I went all the diets. I've been to multiple doctors. They say there's nothing wrong with me, and then the only answer I get is a medication that makes me have side effects that I don't like, and then they got to change it or whatever. So I think the reality is whether you have type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, you're pre-diabetic, you have cancer, you have Hashimoto's, you have Graves' disease, you have fibromyalgia, you have MS, you're overweight, you have migraines. The way I look at it, it's all the same show in the beginning. So I look at myself like a general contractor, and we just try to help you get the foundation in place, making sure you're drinking adequate amounts of water, get the purified air, right? Chewing your food, avoiding liquids with meals, the breath work before meal. This stuff that sounds like it doesn't make it's like, well, that's too simple. But guess what? It freaking works. And typically in type 2 it's type 2 diabetes, right?
Pre-diabetic, so it's just type
Probably
1.
Type 2,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was type 1.
Oh, is it type 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so that could have been inherited then. Like you could have gotten that from your mom. if it's type 1. So in that one's a little bit tougher, but usually when people make these lifestyle changes, in about 6 months, 85% of their problems are gone if they get the foundation in place. Keeping the digestive tract clean, cleaning the blood, the fat, and the muscle tissues, removing the toxic burden we call a body burden. And again, I shared this with these guys last time, I think. Just type in the words umbilical cord and chemical, and you can see these studies going back to 2005 showing how many toxins are in. They're looking for like 400. They found 250 toxins in unborn or the umbilical cord blood of these young mothers and these young babies. And they said they found like 250, and like 180 of them cause cancer in humans. 212 cause developmental and brain disorders, and so on and so forth. So we have a massive amount of these no-see toxic pollutants in the body. They are a body burden. They are lowering your immune system. Again, your job should be boosting your immune system. Not so much like I'm trying to solve my problem for type 2 diabetes or my cancer. It's boosting the immune system. If you do that, then your body will regulate itself and the genes will start expressing themselves differently. And most likely, you have a really good chance of healing yourself on your own.
Good information.
Yeah. And I would also say that, it's typically I was leaning more towards type 2 diabetes, but it's usually a fat issue. So there's also things to look at your diet as well to make sure your cell inflammation is gone. You've got good hydration in the cell. You've got good fat membrane built up so you can take nutrients into the cell. And, there's some things you can do, and then proper food combining. There's a lot of things we can talk about. We do free consults for people. If you want to get one, Stephen, that's fine. It's on my website. But
It is type 2, by the way.
Oh, it is type 2. Well, then, yeah, it's then if it's type 2, that is not a disease. That is a lifestyle. So we change your lifestyle, that will be gone. In fact, type 2 diabetes people heal it so fast if they change that it can become dangerous to be on those like metformin and stuff like that. The drugs they're taking actually become dangerous as the body starts regulating itself. So you have to be under doctor's supervision if you're on medications already. And usually the type 2 diabetics, they were like super experts with their blood sugar levels, and they're testing themselves. So they actually know more than most people. But like when people went to the Hippocrates Health Institute, in 3 to 4 weeks on that lifestyle, they have no type 2 diabetes. It's gone, completely gone. Now it'll come back if they go back to their old habits, but you see what I'm saying? So it's a lifestyle.
Right. It seems like the common trend with everything you're saying too. It's all a lifestyle choice. It's not something we can fix overnight. Yep.
But you can get feeling a lot better sooner, and you don't have to be bummed out about it. So, we've seen people heal of all kinds of stuff. So there's no reason why you can't do it too if you got a good attitude.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim, did you say you have to take off, or did I hear that wrong?
I got about 4 minutes left. If anybody else has a question.
Anybody else have a question? We got Monica coming in right now. We're going to take a quick break in a second. We'll let Monica get greeted in here, and we'll take a session break. Is that the word?
Yeah. Quick break.
Admission. There's the lady.
Hey, Monica.
Hi, Tim. I've been talking to your girl.
Cool. Stephanie?
Yes.
She getting us hooked up? That's cool.
Yeah. So, what is going on right now?
You missed it. We just solved global warming. We figured out the dinosaurs are not real. We did all kinds of stuff, Monica. We're kind of all over the place, but welcome to our 50th episode, Monica Perez. We are big fans of you. I don't know where P-Hud is on your screen on the thing, but he is the gentleman with the beard and the china cabinet behind him. He is the gentleman that introduced me to you and the propaganda report.
Oh, fantastic.
So
Hi.
I would never know, JP and I would never know Monica without P-Hud, so we have to give him a shout out. He's a big fan of yours.
Maybe eventually you'd know.
I doubt it, Monica. Let's be honest.
Well, thanks. Awesome. Well, I'll just try to catch up, so you don't have to stop down.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break, actually, because we've been going about an hour or so. Let everybody get adjusted, and then we'll jump back in.
All right, I'll be back in a minute.
With the youngsters right now. And we're back. Before we go into this any further, I did tell a lady I went to Petco today, and she was doing a booth thing outside of the store for helping children that are bullied and abused and neglected for Child Help Organization. and I don't have any extra money right now. Pretty much is where I'm going with this. So I said, hey, I have a podcast. I'll talk about it on the podcast. How's that sound, man? She said, you have a podcast? I said, oh yeah, it's international because we do have listeners in the Netherlands and the
Canada.
UK,
Yeah,
and
we do.
Canada. Yep.
Australia.
So
They're all over.
it counts. Yep. Here's Jacob coming in right now. So I took a picture of her flyer and I got her name. So they say, call if you need help. No one has the right to hurt you. 1-800-4A as in alpha dash child. So that's 1-800-422-4453. The call is confidential. We're here to help. www.childhelp.org. Go help some children, guys. It seems like a good organization, and I'm too poor to help them. Jacob, welcome to our podcast. Mute your mic when you're sneezing. Tighten up your life.
He's not kidding. I'm writing this down. I'm gonna look into it, and I'll give him a shout out on my.
I appreciate that. They're supposedly a big organization. I never heard of them. I don't know much about this stuff. My kids are neglected as it is, so I can't help other people's kids.
You're not gonna give him the number though. Why cause trouble?
No, I'm making sure my kids can't find that flyer, so
Dad can't.
they
Dad
can't
don't
report
feed
me.
us.
Humor is gonna be illegal real soon, buddy. So
I know. I'm getting shadow banned soon. That's going to happen.
Definitely.
But
Got that right.
this will just be JP's podcast soon because that was too controversial.
I need some of your swag there, buddy. How can I get one of those shirts? How can I buy one of those shirts from
Oh, I'm glad you asked, Monica. The first person on tonight to ask where to get these
you? Yeah,
wonderful
I'm not
t-shirts.
kidding. I want one.
Look, JP's lovely mother's even rocking one of our shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, dig that.
So I don't have a site or anything yet. You just kind of have to message me.
Ask you.
This
Okay,
is
just text
pretty
him.
ghetto. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Jacob turns his shirt on too, and he's got a Truth or Theory
All right.
t-shirt on.
I
Look at
do
this.
Doesn't
text
get mine.
you.
I'll be wearing it.
At
Perfect.
all hours of the night and day.
Oh, you didn't get
Ask
yours
you.
yet?
No.
Seriously? How did Jacob get his and you didn't get yours?
When did you ship them out?
I don't know. My wife took care of it, but it all went the same day. I don't know why yours didn't show
Well,
up and
I
Jacob's
didn't
did.
check the mail today, so it might be sitting there right now.
How dare you not check before the podcast?
Uh,
That's on you,
no,
Paul, not on me.
Look,
sending it 2
I'm
months
trying not to stop right now and go run check the mail.
late. All right, guys. Before the break, we had the lovely Monica Perez from the Propaganda Report join us. Binkley, her co-host sidekick, may be joining us as well. We're not sure yet, but Monica, we're just doing an open chat, basically. Jacob, same to you. He's new to the episode tonight. We're just kind of all talking about whatever's on our mind and just basically complimenting me and JP all night, just how amazing we are that we made it to 50 episodes. It's amazing that we can even count that high.
That's what Binkley just texted. Like, those guys are amazing. They're the best. You actually have been among our highest downloads ever when we
Wow.
did the Swapcast. And Binkley cannot make it because he's in the middle of something. Holy cow. He's in the middle of something. Sorry to interrupt. He says, congratulations.
Awesome. Jacob, you drinking there, buddy?
If you don't mute, the camera goes to you, right?
Yeah. Is that how it works? I don't know how. I've never done
I think if you start talking or your dog barks or you slurp or whatever, it'll think that you're trying to say something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it happens to everybody, but my camera my view goes to the person who's making noise, which is
Oh, that
fun.
must
It's
be like
funny.
a setting thing. I like that. I don't know if ours is set up that way.
No, we can set it like that. Ours is just so that you can see everybody all at once.
Yeah, I kind of want to do it that way so it's easier for you to watch on YouTube. Well, this will be a test run. We'll just do it gallery view. I've been whoever's talking for a while. I'll go to them and zoom it up so it's bigger. But we're running and gunning.
Yeah.
So we talked about a lot of different things so far. We got into
UFOs,
UFOs, Anunnaki.
health.
Yeah, we had Tim James picking his brain for some health questions. What else did we go into? I know I wanted to talk to Monica about the fires in California.
Yeah, man. It's so weird. Yesterday I was just up like driving around going somewhere and I was on an elevated place at hell. My husband said those are the fires. It wasn't like normally we see the fires it's just this first night it looked like it was sunset at midnight. But as he pointed it out, I mean, it was flames. I could see them. But it's so screwy. I mean, I don't know. I don't know any firemen up there or anything, but I remember it's very near where I live. And I remember last Sunday, it was like insanely hot. There was no clouds in the sky. And it's just like a mushroom cloud came up over, the kind of the tree line. I said, that fire is very close to us.
Yeah.
And I bet they don't put it out. And they didn't. And maybe they could have if they wanted to, maybe they couldn't. Then someone said, oh, they couldn't because of the cloud cover. And I was like, there was no cloud cover when I saw that thing explode into the sky.
Dang.
So I've been just like, I'm not worried about getting ill from the trillions of invisible monsters that are trying to kill us all. I am worried about smoke inhalation though.
Yeah.
And it makes me mad because now I live in California. I've been out here a lot. I used to live here, and there was just constant spraying. And people say like the chemtrails, well, it's just exhaust or whatever, you don't know. Well, on the West Coast, it is constant up and down. And once you start tuning into it, I have pictures of it. Just, you can see the aluminum if it's just against the clouds, it's undeniable once you realize what they're doing. But so let's put like, oh, that's conspiracy theory away for a second and just say that by that, if you understand how that stuff works, they push the cloud cover down so it doesn't rain. Can't rain if that is not at the right height. It's like snow can't snow unless it's at a certain temperature, whatever. So this is the theory anyway, that they've been perpetuating this drought out here, and that with really bad forest management ideas. I remember in Colorado, someone was telling me that because they didn't let you cut down old trees, it made the forest really vulnerable to pine beetles that can only eat old, dead, dying, yucky trees otherwise, and that made their population explode. So now you have all these like really weak trees and dried out and everything. And then when you hear how the fires start, they're just crazy. PG&E was actually convicted of negligently starting the fires, and then they were doing rolling blackouts to prevent fires when everyone, common knowledge used to be, conventional wisdom was you don't want to turn the electricity off because then people light candles and stuff. And then this other thing was a gender reveal party. Some yahoos with a pregnant woman, right, went and blew off fireworks where there's like, it's basically kindling on a day where it was 115 degrees outside.
Jeez.
So I could barely walk from my house to the garage, which is not attached to my house, because it's 115 degrees. Like, if you don't realize how much that is, you're not going to a party. I would not have a party in my own pool. So all the stories are so crazy. And then I said, this is just, it's maddening. And then all of a sudden, after I just said, look, there's too much politics being made of this, then all of a sudden there are conspiracy theories, and it's Antifa, or it's BLM, or so if you're on the right, you think it's Antifa or BLM. If you're on the left, it's climate change, and it's Trump's fault because he's a denier and all that. But this all piled up on what I had been observing anyway, is that it seems like they're actually trying to get people out of LA and New York, where for a few reasons, if you want to hear them, I don't want to dominate, but
No, this is
all
awesome.
right, I'll make it quick. So
Dive in.
the three reasons I think they're trying to get people out of New York and LA, one is they're taking these really massively populated red cities where there's like tens of millions of extra Democrats, and pushing them into small cities like Austin and Atlanta, where people, or Florida, where they want to turn it blue, and that those big numbers would actually make a difference in those big cities, but they wouldn't in those medium cities, but they wouldn't actually, LA is not going to go red after those people leave. Like, it's just a question of numbers. There's like a bunch of wasted Democrats out there.
Right.
And then there are a couple of other reasons I think they're doing it. One is like a classic theory that the powers that be are to concentrate wealth. What you do is you bottom out a market, and if you have any foreknowledge whatsoever of what's going to happen, you wait, you get your money out, you have dry powder, you wait for the market to crash, then you can go in and buy all the real estate there is. And then the third reason I think that they're doing it is that I believe that they really want to implement what Google calls the sidewalks plan, green cities, where I've noticed it with schools, where after the school shootings, I was talking about it before they even said anything, but then they came out with schools that have no landscaping, that have no niches, that like the doorways are flush with the wall so you can't hide, that have cameras and audio listening for, gunshots or whatever, that can actually make out words, that kind of surveillance everywhere. I think that's what they want there. And that they can use, if they empty out these cities just even a bit, they have the kind of political will to implement climate-y stuff, especially if they have fires, basically just burning the place to the ground. So I feel like it all kind of dovetailed into trends that I already saw, or fed politics that I thought were political agendas that were already underway. But I look at these fires and I'm just like stomping mad. And my kids are like, Mom, you really think the fires are political? I'm like, yes, I really think the fires are political. All right. Yeah. And she's like, now, my daughter's like, now will you wear a mask? I'm like, no, but I do think we need some air filters at this point. I mean, it's uninhabitable. And I feel like it's so clear now with the mask policies and the policies that don't seem to be, I'm not convinced on the science on a lot of this stuff. And I think it's their job, before they take away everything from us, that they convince us on the science, that they don't actually care about our health unless it is to make it worse anyway. So I really think that we're seeing the kind of, when the clouds part and you see that giant alien ship, like in the movie, like, oh,
that would be nuts.
I didn't know. I mean, it could be actual aliens, but I just mean I was reading some document from the Rockefeller Foundation saying that one of the scenarios they see for the future would be all the philanthropic organizations and the foundations combining as a de facto world government. And that's, I think, the route they're taking right now, because it's just, I think those guys are calling the shots. And I think that's where we are, the green stuff and the Event 201 and everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, that is
Here
super
it is.
interesting.
Any of our other guests in here have any questions for Monica? I know we got a lot of fans of her.
Thank you.
Well, I heard this today, and I think it was on your show, Monica, but Leonardo DiCaprio, the great mind of our generation, said that the fires were indeed caused by climate change. Was that on your show?
I didn't say that. I didn't say Leonardo DiCaprio. Binkley
But
might
then
have.
then maybe Binkley said, well, he's correct. He just left out one word. It's political climate change that has caused all the fire. That was brilliant. I'm going to be using that all week whenever I can, talking to people.
I don't think we said that. So you got to find out who it was so you can attribute it correctly. It is genius.
Damn it, Paul.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I think it's man-made. I think the chemtrails got us into this as much as anything else.
You know what? I think right before I was listening to little 5-minute videos on PragerU. That's what it was.
Perfect.
Because there was
There
a
you go.
California fire thing. That's where it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Prager. I was going back and forth between you and PragerU. So
Yeah, I would absolutely love to have credit for the most brilliant thing you heard today. But
that was, because if people that know me know I'm not going to be saying climate change is responsible for the forest fires, but then we're like, oh, wait, I'm sorry, I forgot. Political climate change.
well, it took me a really long time to believe in chemtrails. I really was but eventually I could not deny it, especially when I would come out to California. But I was reading in a book by World Economic Forum about the fourth industrial revolution, which they're trying to usher in with the Great Reset. And the World Economic Forum was also behind Event 201, which was the novel coronavirus scenario they did in October. So those guys are in it. And in one of the passages in this book, it said, when you do, it talks about solar radiation management. It says, when you do solar radiation management, you have to be careful that there isn't political climate change. It doesn't say it that way, but it says if there's a political change and the solar radiation management is canceled, you will have a rapid rise in temperature. And so they did stop the solar radiation management during the corona times, I thought, because they didn't have enough planes to justify the narrative that it is plane exhaust, that they didn't bring it back still. And the temperatures went through the freaking roof. And then they're like, oh, well, when it gets hot, trees just explode. It's like,
So I'm still on the fence a little bit with the chemtrail thing, but I've heard you talk about it on and off. Have you done any kind of like a little special segment on that? Chemtrails,
no,
or just
when I first came out here, when the corona times thing started, I went to Flight Tracker and I had finally realized I'm going to actually write down the planes that are doing it and see if there's any pattern at all to that, because pilots will swear to you it is not happening. People who do maintenance, they will just swear to you it's not happening. And I mean, that I don't really doubt that they don't think it's happening, but it is clearly happening, because I have pictures of like silver stuff coming out of a plane and then like the clouds zipping open. I mean, just that I've taken myself. And once you see it, and out here, it's just so maddening, because you see that it's a really nice day. And then all of a sudden you'll see the crisscross thing. And then all of a sudden there's like haze and it's like this, and it just pisses you off. And I'll tell my kids, look, they're ruining the day. And they're like, what? So when this thing came down, the Corona times, I said, look, this is going to be the only time in your whole life that you get to witness natural weather and natural skies. You should watch it. But then the temperatures went so insane. Then they're like, where's that? Where are the chemtrails, Mom? My husband's like, yeah, I think it's time to bring those chemtrails back. It's like, no, just wait. But even my husband finally, like, shit out him. He was just like, it's hard to deny what you're saying, because you just see the planes turn it on and turn it off. It's the craziest thing.
That is crazy. Jacob, how are you doing tonight, man?
I felt like this was a safe space to talk about that.
It is. We're going to have to do a chemtrail episode with you, because you know way more about it than we do. And that's some interesting stuff.
The only time we ever talked about it was when Mick West came on and debunked it.
Yeah.
Debunked it, you know.
We had Mick West on, the Escaping the Rabbit Hole author. And he's a very knowledgeable guy, but he just rained on our parade and filled the rabbit hole up with water, and now we can't swim in there.
We thought this would be a good episode. Let's do some debunking to make sure we're not crazy. And it was sad.
We went through every topic that we talk about, and you just debunked everything. But
I'm gonna go listen to that. What episode?
I
can tell you, but
it's titled "Debunking with Mick West." I'm pretty sure.
I think, or Escaping the Rabbit Hole. I might have named it after his book. I don't remember, but he's a smart guy, and I think he's been on Rogan 1 or 2 times, and it was just kind of we don't want to be a biased podcast in any way. It's episode 29. And we're on episode 50, guys, in case you forgot. This is episode 50. Woohoo! Yeah, he's a smart guy, but there's got to be some truth to a lot of these conspiracies. He even had I should have invited him on tonight too. We could have picked his brain a million times. He had debunks for the JFK thing, which is, I don't think anybody's gonna get on board for that. It's nowhere near what it was painted to be.
It's like as hard as trying to convince people that the Earth is flat.
Yeah. Speaking of, any flat earthers in here tonight? Paul, you converted yet?
No.
Nope.
Are you converted?
I'm still all about the sciencey stuff.
Sciencey stuff. Monica, did he cross you over?
Were you convinced?
No, I mean, he had some interesting stuff that I hadn't heard yet.
He was a little bit better than the first guy you had on, but
sorry,
still,
Daryl.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little better than Daryl, a little more polished, but still.
I was not convinced at all.
Because he mentioned the 2-stick thing, in the shadows, and that was something I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about. He's like, yeah, the 2-stick thing, you can debunk it if you put the sun close enough to it. But if you put 3 sticks, then you cannot prove that the Earth is flat if there are 3 points instead of you're just measuring against 2. That was something like that. So.
Well, this is how I was thinking about it. This is how I think about everything. I've walked around my entire life thinking the Earth was a sphere and that things were the way they explained to me that they were. And I have never really had cause to doubt. And on the occasions that I could kind of confirm it, I felt satisfied that it was true. But things like Darwinian evolution and the moon landing and even germ theory, I've been like, that doesn't really explain everything. And I've had points where I'm like, I'm not satisfied with that theory. But this one, I've really never had any reason to doubt. And his points didn't really give me reason to doubt. The one thing that I absolutely just does give me pause is that eclipses are perfect. I just don't.
They are perfect?
virtually perfect. Like they just go, like a solar eclipse. It's just perfect. I don't get that. And maybe someone could explain it to me. Is it a coincidence that the size of the shadow is the exact same as the sun?
I think that has to do with the fact that the distances, the sun being, I looked all this up before, but like the sun is X number of miles from the Earth. The moon is this distance from the Earth,
but that's
and
a coincidence.
No, it's not a coincidence.
Okay.
It's perfection, because it couldn't be a coincidence. So therefore, because they are the right exact distances, when they cross over, they look to be the same size. If they were,
why are they the exact right distance? Is that
that's
essential for the system to work?
Yeah, I believe so. That's part of the intelligent designer, or I would just say God. But intelligent design is
right. But do you think science has a reason that says that it's not that it's perfect? It's that because of the way the sun and the shadow and the moon, it looks perfect, but it's always going to look that way no matter how you arrange things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm with you. Like, I think there's an intelligent, there's some order that we don't understand. And I totally get that. But I think, it's that perfection of like the moon. You only see one side of the moon because it's always going around. It's
because
rotation and revolution is the exact same, almost exact.
But I think
that's weird to me.
Yeah, but I think if I'm not mistaken, don't people on like in Australia see a different side of the moon than we do? No, that we all see the same side.
There's a dark side of the moon that has never faces the sun. And I'm not saying I attribute that to aliens or God or anything. I'm just saying there are a couple of things I think are weird about the system that I'd like to understand better. This is all just going to the fact that nothing's really giving me serious pause about the system I was taught. Those little facts are a little too cute for me, but I don't, the flat earth thing doesn't make me.
No, because I just want to say, all right, well then let's hop in a boat and keep going till we hit the wall, till we hit the edge. I mean, till we see the edge, or with the sun, the moon, the distances, they said, I think Carl Sagan said in the 60s or 70s, you have to have two things to have a habitable planet. You have to have it to be the right distance from the sun, and you have to have, I think, the moon. I think that was critical too. A second thing. Now, what are we, 50 years later? I don't know, whatever the math is there. A number of years later, they're up to like 200 and something essential things you have to have life on a planet. The more we learn about science, the more we learn that there's no way this could randomly happen. I just want somebody to.
Darwinian evolution fails that way too. Like the idea of having random mutations serially in the same organism that would wipe out the entire species every single time, so that only that organism was left to have the next mutation bestowed upon it, and they were beneficial and serial. It's just not remotely possible, which is another argument against life on other planets.
Well, I want somebody, the moon landing thing is very interesting.
I do think the moon landing's fake.
I think, I mean,
it's hard to
my
believe
question, and then what I thought was interesting was how the guy said, I want to say it was your first episode, right, Willie, the moon landing?
Yep. Yeah, Charlie Robinson.
So,
yep.
Didn't he say that it was possible that we probably did go to the moon, but they faked the video and they faked everything because of technological issues with video and all that kind of stuff? So I don't know. So do we, Monica, I guess, do you think we have people in space right now on the space station, or do you think that's fake too?
I don't actually have any opinion about that stuff. I never dug into the science. Like, I will never say the Van Allen belts are why we didn't go to the moon. I will never say that. Yeah. I will just say, because I can't verify that. I can't even think about it. But I will say, when I look at what they are telling me is the proof that they went to the moon. All they have to prove to me is stuff that looks ridiculous, that I've seen like photographers say this is ridiculous. And their argument, what they told us, was that they were having two-way audiovisual communication faster than the speed of light. And I don't.
Yeah,
that can't be true. So
there's a lot of holes in it.
Yeah, if they say, well, we were lying about all the things that we told you proved that we did it, but we did do it, and we can't show you any of that. They might as well tell me that they are actually lizard people, which they
yeah.
might be, but that's totally irrelevant to whether or not that moon landing. When I say the moon landing is fake, I'm talking about the moon landing that they told us was real.
Yeah.
And,
I want somebody to take that guy up high enough or something to show him that basically the Earth is round. Let's put this guy in a rocket. If the space station is real, if we really got people floating around, let's get him on the next one up there, and then let him come back and see what he says.
They all poo-pooed me being on the Concorde, but I was on the Concorde, and I used to say I got on the Concorde. Yeah, and I could see the curvature of the Earth, and they're like, well, you can't. Yeah. I was like,
okay, so my cousin is the pilot for American Airlines. And he said, what the commercial jets fly at 30, 40,000 feet. He said, no. I said, look, how much can you see? And he said, I have a 270-degree field of view. I can see side to side. He said at 30 to 40,000 feet, you can't tell. But he did say once you got up around 60 or 70, you can start seeing it. And that whole window thing, I don't buy that crap either.
Planes have the same windows as the Concorde had. And I could see it. And then, maybe he said that when I flew from New York to Frankfurt to Singapore to Japan to LA to New York, I was really going around in a flat circle.
Yeah, the blah, blah, blah. Yeah, if you just take, in that Daryl Marble episode, and he hinted at it, he talks about flight patterns and all this kind of stuff. Huh? The flight patterns and the directions they go and all that bull crap. First of all, if you take a string and you put it on a globe, you can see how the flight pattern, if you're going to England, you don't take a straight shot. If it's on a globe, then it's an arc that does like this, that goes up over Canada or Nova Scotia or whatever, I don't know, and then kind of comes back down because the freaking Earth is round. And then also, my cousin mentioned this too when I was talking about some of the direct flights. Why don't they have a direct flight from Australia to India, blah, blah, blah. He said, well, because nobody freaking wants to go from point A to point B that way. They have to make these flights economical. Right. So that means they got to go and pop off to, I don't know, Jakarta or something, pick up some more people, and then go this way. So it's not all about fastest direct line of, flight. So I don't know. And then it bugs me too when they say the crap about, the speed of the Earth and the spinning, you can't feel it and all that crap. I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're in your car doing 60 miles an hour. You can't feel it either. But you know what? If I put a tree in front of your car, you're going to feel it when you go through that windshield at 60 miles an hour.
I'm certain I've had the experience of relative motion where I felt like I was standing still. I'm certain I've had that experience, either on a boat or a plane or something, where I've just been like, or like on a carnival ride, where I'm like, am I moving or is this other thing moving? That's absolutely happens to me. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's a ship docking, where you're like,
maybe. I'm
is it
thinking
even
about the
moving?
boat. Yeah.
And you just don't know. I mean, some things are just too big for you to
and the
tell.
reason we all don't feel the Earth moving is because the whole thing is moving, just like when you're in the car or whatever, and my cousin said the same thing. He said when he was talking about flying across the ocean, he would make flights from across the Atlantic. He goes, I think, excuse me, I think he said, no, we don't adjust for the curvature of the Earth. He said, because you're flying in the atmosphere of the Earth and that follows the Earth. So you're naturally, your flight pattern. Now, maybe, I don't know, but he was just talking about how, or maybe I'm getting that mixed up with what Darren Marvel said about how the wind and whatever doesn't fly off the Earth and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, no, because you're in, gravity is holding everything there. Now, if you want to get a sense of the motion of the Earth, then just hit the stop button. And then we're all going to keep going at 25,000 miles an hour. And I mean, we won't be here to talk to, Daryl and David and go, see, you were wrong, but
look, because it's not possible for us to have perspective. we simply can't get that bird's eye view. Maybe people in the space station do have it,
Yeah.
and he could do that, but I don't have it. I can only work with what I've got. And for me, the only things I can ever do is hope that understanding the world around me will make a theory work or not. That's how I see all these false flags. That's why I don't believe that some idiot took his pregnant wife at 115 degrees and took her to the middle of a field and lit off fireworks. Pregnant women aren't even supposed to go in hot tubs. Like, I don't believe the story that a gender reveal party started a wildfire because of my personal experiences. People are stupid. But
that's what I was gonna say. People are that stupid.
But it's unbearable. Like, pregnant chicks do not do shit like that, and it's unbearable. 115 is unbearable.
I'll take your word for that.
I came out here because I have a house in the desert in Coachella, like wherever it is, India or something, and it's you're looking like, can we go to the desert? It's like, if it's 110, you can go. If it's 115, you can't. You don't move. You can sit in the pool, but you can't swim in it. You're like, So I mean, yes, take your word for it, but I'm just saying it's my experience. That's why I feel like I can make. I'm not even trying to convince anybody, but I'm just saying you got to, because you can't trust anything that's out there. You have to just use your own common sense. And
that's where Neil deGrasse Tyson was coming from too with it. He was saying that basic math, basic geometry, you can determine the shape of the earth. You don't need to go to the moon. You don't need to get off the planet.
You're giving me an appeal to authority, and I don't respect that authority.
Well, but
I mean?
you
like,
can.
Let's do the math.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can say, okay, well, I don't like what you have to say, but I'm going to double check your math on that. And I mean, I sucked at geometry, but I'm sure the good mathers can recreate that experiment, and prove for themselves that the earth is indeed a ball.
Yeah, I think that can probably be.
Am I the only one who thinks Neil deGrasse Tyson, however you say his name, is bullshit? He's
total bullshit.
Bill Nye.
I don't know I don't know enough about him.
He's
I
an
just
actor.
know
what's the other science guy that's a popular figure?
Bill Nye.
Yeah, he's another bullshit artist too.
Oh yeah, well he's what was he? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't even want to get started on
I want to show something real quick for the channel. After we did our Flat Earth episode with Daryl Marble, Paul had a lot to say because, as you can tell, Paul's passionate about the Earth being a sphere. He sent us this gift to our studio. Please hold.
There's the proof. It's round.
What the heck?
That's what he said.
The Earth is a beach ball.
The Earth is made of plastic.
Idea. It is not water. I thought it was water.
It's all bullshit, guys. Simulation.
Life's a beach.
Nice. On that note, I have to press my own off button, which will probably be a relief to anyone who wanted to get a word in edgewise. I just can't be invited to parties.
This has been great.
But my hall pass expired 10 minutes ago. So
you're good. It's going to keep you on?
Say it again.
You're good to go. It's not going to kick you off?
I got to go. But I'm not going
She's
to.
kicking herself off.
I'm kicking myself off.
No, don't you leave yet. We're not done with you, Monica.
Okay, I'll stay. Just give me a minute, though. And I cut Jacob off before. That was very rude of me, and I haven't stopped talking since then.
It's all good, Monica. You're gold material. Jacob, how are you doing, buddy? We haven't even acknowledged you, really.
Oh, I'm good. Just here for the hang.
Here for the hang. Oh, where's Carlisle? That's the name of her podcast, man.
Yeah.
She popped in here for a minute earlier, and I was going to introduce her, but somebody was talking, and I didn't want to cut him off. And I guess she's like, okay.
That was probably Monica.
No, it was before
of
Monica
course,
got in.
I know. I talked for half an hour straight. That's why I got to go.
I think it was Paul. It's Paul's fault. But, yeah, I tried to get a hold of her to get her back in here. Otherwise, it's going to look funny having just a random Carlisle Forrester cameo without saying anything. But, yeah, her show's called Here for the Hang. So if she doesn't come back, check out her YouTube comedy show. It's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
She gets guests on, and she goes over all the stuff going on in Hollywood and in the world from a comedian's perspective. It's pretty good stuff. Yeah. So hopefully
those episodes you did with her were very interesting about Marilyn Monroe, and y'all did Britney Spears too, right?
No, Britney.
Or is that just part of it?
No, we did Marilyn Monroe was the first one, and then we got into man, I'm drawing a blank on her. The one that was with
Britney or Whitney? forget her name.
No, damn.
She got murdered on a boat.
Natalie Wood.
Natalie Wood.
Natalie
Yeah.
Wood, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The
Those were
Natalie Wood
both
case.
very good. Yeah.
Yeah, she's fun to talk to you about that kind of stuff. We give her kind of like little weird projects that she wants to dive into. She likes the untimely deaths of actresses. That's like kind of her thing. And it's not really what she was doing before this, but she decided to jump in with our podcast and do that. And it's really cool.
She's
Joan
really good
Rivers.
at it too.
Tell her to do Joan Rivers.
Oh, yeah. Joan Rivers would be awesome because that's all tied into something I'm very big into lately is that Michelle Obama is a man.
Come on.
I'm sorry. I said it. She's
Why
a
do you
damn
think that?
man.
I think
Because she's big boned?
No, because she's big penis. I said it.
that's some
got a
poor
bulge.
photoshopping.
There's scenes of her dancing on Ellen and something swinging around, and it's impressive. And I think she's a dude. And
I think it's a distraction from what's really going on.
Absolutely, because what difference does it make?
I know it doesn't make a difference, but it's fun to talk about.
I think Joan Rivers got killed for other reasons, but I'm not going back into another diatribe.
No, we're going back to it in a minute. I want to know.
Did y'all talk about Joan Rivers at all on the Natalie Wood one?
No, I don't think so. Is she connected to that case?
No, I don't know. It's just stuff popping around my head about Britney Spears and Joan Rivers because I don't know what else I would have heard any of that.
Okay, I will do a plug for my podcast if that's what you're hinting at. I did a solo episode with Carlisle
God, you're
Forrester.
slow.
And we, her and I dove into the Britney thing. We got because Carlisle Forrester does an amazing Britney Spears impression, and we dove into that on No Limits with E. Willie only on YouTube. What are you showing us, Jacob? I can't make that out. Read it out loud. Share with the rest of the class. You're muted still, sweetheart.
You got to unmute Jacob.
I'm going to send it to you.
All right, I'll read it out loud.
Share the screen.
Oh, yeah, you can do that too. All right, we'll get to it in a second. Yeah, so if anybody wants to check out that podcast, it's nowhere near 50, but it's still fantastic. It's missing one of the important ingredients, which I call JP, my sugar and spice. But
I'm a busy man.
He's a loyal listener to that podcast.
I am.
When he's out grinding and working, he's listening to No Limits with E. Willie only on YouTube.
I get notifications.
Yeah.
Subscriber, man.
Really enjoyed your I'm stuck in the bathroom, by the way.
Oh, man.
You watch those? That's embarrassing, Monica. That's
I'm in IHOP. God damn it.
She was such a good sport.
She was.
What are we
I've
talking
had
about?
some really cool calls with cool people. I told my wife that she was listening in on a few of them in the beginning, and I was like, when I go to produce these and put them all together and put them on YouTube and you watch them, you never laugh. It's killing me. I want you to laugh. So I kicked her out. So she's not allowed to sit in here anymore when I do these calls. I do them by myself, and then I show her like everybody else sees. Yeah. And now she thinks they're funny. But I said the other day that it takes a good recipient on the other side of the phone to make it worth it. Otherwise, it just sounds dumb. So I've gone through a couple of them where I didn't use them because the person I talked to on the side of the phone didn't have any character or whatever. But, man, I've talked to some really funny people lately. I did one today. I'll do a little tease to that real quick. I did one today that was absolutely ridiculous. I found somebody, I might get in legal trouble for this, but I found somebody on Craigslist that was looking for casting for a show that's on WETV, or is it WeTV?
Yeah.
We Network. It's called Love After Lockup. Anybody heard of that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I have heard of that.
That's awesome. You heard of it. So it's people that are in a relationship with someone that's in prison or that went to prison or something. So I came up with a whole shtick for one of my characters. I won't say yet. It's going to release tomorrow. That's involved with that. And I got him auditioned basically to be on the show with one of the production people. And it went pretty far, and we're still in the mix of it. I got to reach out to this guy and get his permission to upload this episode, but it was fun.
Where do we find this?
I'm glad you asked. No Limits with E. Willie on YouTube has interviews with athletes, comedians, artists of different kind. Just a variety show. And then I also have a prank playlist on there as well, because I am still a 12-year-old and I like to do phone pranks as different characters. So check it out. Jacob shared the picture to me. It says, it's Little John. It says, to the window, to the wall, till the sweat drip down my balls. And your parents are on this episode.
Jesus.
Thanks, Jacob.
Oh my God. I don't, who's the first one? Who's that person on the top?
Got Lil Jon, then it's got Trump in the middle, and then
Yeah.
Michelle on the bottom.
Yeah. Jacob, this is a family show, and we strive ourselves on being intellectual. So if you could just clean it up a little bit, that'd be great. I don't know.
So that screwed up the focus of your camera.
Did it?
Did it?
Hmm. Now
What?
you're all super blurry.
Oh, thanks for
Right? Am I
spotting
not? Am I not right?
Nope, they are fuzzy.
There you go. Now I see your face again. God, take your hands away.
So
I
to
think you
pray
did
for
it.
the camera. Is that what
Yeah,
you're
I
doing?
see. I see JP. I see sugar and spice over there. He looks good. I know that you're laughing. I gotta go because I'm gonna get kicked out of bed tonight if I don't get in there. So
Okay.
All right,
Not
we're
a
gonna
bad
wrap it up
event.
too. So I'm
that
gonna
was
go through
racier than I
everybody.
meant it to be. I just don't want to be in trouble.
Great to meet you, Monica. Keep up the good
It's
work.
been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. You know, I just never stop talking. So
No, it's perfect.
I can only
Thanks for
come. I
stopping
can
in.
only parachute in and then.
No, it's awesome.
Welcome to the gulag.
Everybody in here, I think, already knows who you are and where to find you. But the Propaganda Report, guys, go subscribe and listen. Where else,
That's right.
Monica? You got
Just
Patreon?
I'm always on Twitter for as long as it lasts at Monica Perez Show. I had a little scare today. I think my days are numbered there. But yeah, if you want to hear the show, Propaganda Report, it's on your favorite podcasting feed. I do a new show every day from a perspective of truth, liberty, and justice. But on the weekends, we do cocktail parties that disappear. And actually, I think one of your friends, E. Willie, came to my cocktail party.
Oh yeah, I got a text from Clyde
French,
the other day.
French fellow.
Yeah, Clyde texted me and said he made an appearance with Michelle Perez. I didn't know who he was talking about, but now it makes sense. Monica Perez. Yep.
It was me anyway, and I just immediately wanted to go eat some frogs. I don't know why. But anyway, so that was fun. Thank you very, very, very much for having me. And you can even hear our fantastic swap casts together. And I also put it up on YouTube, but you've got your own YouTube, so I won't step on that. And
No,
I'll see-
step
Post
on
it.
it. Yeah.
Post it.
No, I have youtube.com/Monica Perez. So if you like real libertarian stuff, Paul, you might like this. I do just an hour on Saturdays with a conservative friend of mine, and we just kind of try to talk about the stories of the day from that perspective of like
Ooh, I'm going to check
conservatives
that
who I
out.
just think are, you know.
Because you
kinda-
and Dave Smith have been my bastions of libertarianism.
I think you might like go to my YouTube channel if you feel like it. YouTube.
I'm about to right now. Yeah.
Thanks, sweetie.
Oh, he's
All
leaving.
right.
Thanks, Monica.
Thanks, guys.
You're kicking all my guests out and
Congratulations.
taking all my people. They're all going to watch your stuff.
Sorry.
No, I'm
Goodbye.
kidding. No, thank you very much for coming on, Monica. Everybody go follow her stuff. We're going to put your links in here as well. We love you, Monica. She gives me dog advice. I give her aquarium advice. She's our mentor. All right, guys. I'm going to go through a few more times. I'm obviously buzzed a little bit. And then we're going to call it a night. We're going to have to get Carlisle back on her own episode because that went nowhere. And it's going to be funny in the video now, though. Miss Delinda. Miss Justin's mother.
Yep.
Do you have any closing
Mama.
statements or comments or any topics you'd like to talk about?
I don't think so. Just keep up the good work and yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on and staying up late with us and
Yes.
joining one of
fun.
my shows. This is fantastic. I had my whole family on tonight, and it's a good feeling. I love you guys.
Yeah,
We
it's
love
awesome. I love the support you guys have there. And anybody, I'm going to go through everybody too. If y'all have any guest recommendations y'all like us to get on too, let us know and we're going to push hard to get them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any, Miss Delinda?
I don't think so. I know you guys are working on Ryan Dawson.
Yeah, been in
That
touch
was
with
somebody
him
that
several
Steve
times.
had. Yeah, he's busy. He's in Japan, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
It'll happen soon. We're going to get him on. We've had some seriously close calls to get him on, and we're all set up, and it just something fell through. But we're going to get him on soon. We're
yeah,
gonna pursue that one.
but no, I'm constantly thinking. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
you
Thanks
guys
for
have
wearing the
a
shirt,
wide
too.
variety, and it's good. It's good. So yep,
Yeah.
awesome.
Keston,
awesome.
you have any suggestions or things you'd like to bring up that we talked about today? Any closing statements?
No, I don't have much. Just keep up the good work.
Yeah, will do.
Power on,
Going
man.
old
Appreciate
school.
you.
Yeah. I think Trev had a guy that he wanted us to get on. Who's that YouTube show you watch, Trev? Maybe we can reach out to him.
His name is Adam. He does a live show on YouTube pretty much every night. Marfugal News.
Marfugal News. You might have to text that to me.
Okay.
What's his full
Yeah,
name?
I'll send it to you. And I have no idea.
Okay.
I know his email is Adam at Marfugal News.
Okay.
So
yeah. Looking.
Yeah, I'll
text
he's,
that to Justin, and
got
I'll track him down.
Booker E's
he's got some very interesting stuff. They're a big show, but I don't think they're too big. So.
Oh, we're bigger.
No show too big.
Yeah, we're bigger. We just hit 50 episodes, and this is streaming right now on CNN and Fox News and all kinds of stuff. So you guys are all on TV right now.
Yeah,
we're huge, Trevor.
How many? What's your subscriber account, if you don't mind me asking?
20 million.
The amount of subscribers? Oh, I can't even count that high, Trevor. I'll have to text you. It's too big to verbally say.
Yeah, got to put a lot of words in there.
We just hit 10,000 downloads a couple weeks ago. That was a big milestone for us.
Yeah.
As far as actual subscribers, I'm not sure.
Yeah, subscribers and views, we can't see that, but we did hit 10,000 downloads. We're over 10,000 downloads,
and we're almost at 11 already. That was just a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Yeah, give us that name. Send it to Justin, and I'll track him down.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Steven, any closing?
Congratulations on your 50th.
Thank you.
Me and Justin talk a lot about, different things. And one thing I did mention to him is current events, like voting. You're going to have this election coming up, and this is going to be a mess because I don't know, both sides are going to try to cheat this thing like crazy. And I mentioned to Justin about the black box voting, and that was a gal named Harris, and she's done some documentary work on the voting machines and how the voting machines can be rigged, and that might be a good topic, with everything coming up. And Monica Perez, wow, I'm looking over her Twitter and her website. And she's powerhouse. That's for sure. She's fantastic. That was great. It was first time I probably run across her somewhere, but I hadn't really paid attention to her. But so she's awesome.
You should check out her show. Her show is they're quick episodes. They're usually roughly 30 minutes or so. So if you want to catch up, they do really super current stuff that's going on. So it's a good show to listen to. It's quick and it's to the point, and she's super sharp.
Yeah.
So is our co-host Brad Binkley is awesome too.
Brad Binkley and her both do a great job. It's highly recommended by us. They're a powerful ally of ours, and we love having our connection with them.
Yep. Propaganda report. It's really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the Epstein thing, that's continuing to go on. They just had a article come out and said that Epstein got his money from her father Maxwell, and they're doing everything they can to not let the conversation go to Lex Wexner, who was the head of Victoria's Secret. He was the one running the whole thing. And you want to talk about pedophilia, that's Wexner right there.
Yep.
And they're trying to divert it. They're trying to say, well, Maxwell was the source of money, which is not true, because Wexner basically gave Epstein a $70 million mansion right in, downtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
So that's a big story, and I hope you guys keep pushing that, and don't let that one go, because that affects every area of our lives, from 9/11, because Epstein was involved in 9/11 and the ties he has with the Jewish Agency, the MAGA group involved in running 9/11, and Wertheimer, who gave money to Bernard Kerik. That's a great story too. And then, the elections, hopefully you guys, cover some of the election stuff. I mean, it is kind of old, and I know none of us can figure out what are they doing running Biden. Biden, is he there to take the fall to put Trump in for a second term? I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff there, you know. So it's not like you guys have a lack of material. It is so insane what's going on in the world right now, and it's great to have an avenue to talk about it. You know, I'm sure everybody here has got a lot of different opinions, and you know, and they want to get their voice heard, you know, and we should encourage people talking about this stuff rather than shutting people down, because once you talk about things, then you can change minds. You know, when you wall everybody off and you just have, you know, one way of thinking, you know, that's not a good thing. You know, you get crazy people out there, and you know, if we can talk to people and, you know, talk these things out, you know, it's so much better. So.
Mm-hmm.
Completely agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one reason why we like to have these kind of open discussion episodes once in a while, just so we can kind of get people in and they can share their opinions and whatnot. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of.
It helps us know where we're going, right and wrong too. So it's nice to get steered back in the right direction. Yeah. Paul, you had something you wanted to say to Stephen?
Yeah, I just all the people I've been listening to, I just believed kind of the common knowledge that there's no way Biden would get the nomination. They would just steal it from him. They do some not steal it from him, but just do some kind of fast change at the end. And I was talking to my mom today, and she's like, I just can't believe that. I can't believe it. And then it finally clicked with me, I think. And I hope I didn't hear this somewhere else. I don't think I did. But I think the reason they keep inviting Biden in, and they put him in, let him stay in, is simply, if you think about it, she was baffled by it. And I thought, well, that's because you're thinking like a sane human who thinks this is a straightforward, honest process, and that you know, what you've got to be thinking is about the people behind the scenes who are pulling the strings on both sides. I mean, Republican and Democrat, the power people behind it. If you want to be in charge and you want to control things, who better to have up there than a puppet? Somebody that you can control. Then you have a vice president nominee who checks a bunch of boxes off, who is an aggressive go-getter, who's down with the party line, is going to do whatever you tell her to do. And then if Biden becomes too much trouble, it's so easy to pull the plug on him, literally or figuratively. He doesn't even know what's going on. So they've got a puppet in place. It's the perfect scenario, I think, for those the puppet masters. You know, so that's my thought on why Biden actually made it to the nomination. And I don't have any other suggestions right now for guests. I'm kind of just now easing back into what's been going on. I had to take a little break from it. And I just you guys look awesome for 50, man. I hope I look that good when I get to 50.
I like it.
Over the hill.
Thank you.
I am getting a lot of gray hair. That's no joke.
I'm full of gray hair. Thankfully, I'm mostly blonde, light brown, so it hides. But you look
I got
at
a
me
few.
close, I got a ton. Yeah, I'm catching up, Paul. And Paul does Santa Clauses. If you're interested around the holidays, he's a Santa Claus for hire. Is that right? Or are you retired?
well, for during the quarantine, I got fed up and I shaved it off. But I'm gonna make a decision this month if I'm gonna regrow for 2021. But that was a blast. I mean, the kids were amazing, and so. But it's a 13-month commitment. I've got to decide if I want to grow that mess out again.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't
You're
know.
the only guy I trust to play Santa, man. I don't trust other mall Santas.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Jacob, any closing comments, guests, suggestions, compliments for me or whatever? It's perfectly normal.
I really have I really don't know anybody as far as guests go, but y'all doing an awesome job, man. I enjoy every minute of y'all show. And
thank you.
Both of y'all doing, just compliment each other so much, and I enjoy it. I mean, this I love it. I keep doing what you're doing. Man, that's really all I can say. Man,
Thank you, man.
I can't wait to get up there and sit in that studio with you.
Yeah, that'll be fun, man. You and the family are always welcome up here.
Same here.
Jacob's a long-time family friend of ours. Our families grew up right next to each other. Yeah, I appreciate you listening, Jacob, and being a loyal listener. Are you still pretty regular on the podcast? You're all caught up?
Of course, on both of them.
So you passed up Paul. Paul just came back to us, so he had to leave the rabbit hole for a little while. It was getting intense, but now you've passed him.
I am caught up to date on both podcasts.
Oh snap! I like it.
I quit listening. I even quit listening to what's his name? Joe Hogan or something like that.
Never heard of her.
I don't even listen to that anymore. Actually,
There's no reason to. I heard he's in a toaster now doing his podcast. It's all red and.
Dude, it's an awesome toaster. Have you seen it?
You like that?
It's awesome.
Dude, I've heard so many people complain about it.
I
I'm not
love
a
it.
fan of it. It's too red.
I love the new studio.
I'm gonna make ours look like we're in a purple toaster.
There you go.
It's gonna be all purple lit up in here. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna close it out. Thank you all very much for coming on. It's been an honor to talk to you guys. I love getting to meet JP's family too. This is really cool. The support you guys have is awesome too. Thank you all so much for coming on, and we will do it again soon.
Yep.
Thank you. Happy
Absolutely.
50.
Thank you.
Thank
If you guys all want to get in on this, it'd be fantastic. Unmute your phones and your devices, and we're gonna do one Wolfpack howl for the Woke Wolfpack 50.
Yep. When I howl, you howl.
When JP howls, you howl. Woke Wolfpack.
Oh,
Woke Wolfpack. Thanks, guys.
You're all woke. You're all woke.
Everybody's awake.
Bye.
Peace out.
See you next time.